minus 10, 9, 8. We have a go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning and welcome to the SSL Gold Cup Road to Rio. We are here in Grandson, Switzerland on the beautiful Lake Neuchâtel. This is the last qualifying session for the European teams. Today we are expecting two nice races. We'll see what the wind brings for us as we are expecting wind coming out of the southwest. But before we get out onto the water, let's go and speak with Mark and see who he found to speak with.
Thank you, Jan. Today I'm talking with Afonso Domingos, who is the captain of SSL Team Portugal. Days like today, when you've got light winds and you're in Group G, it's a lot of waiting that you have to do. How do you keep the team focused in that time?
It's quite difficult, definitely. It's one thing that you can see, even you see some statistics also in Olympic Games and everything. When there is delays and long delays, then lots of teams start losing the focus. So here we try to be relaxed and get chilly and don't be stressful about the time of leaving to the sea or to the lake. Here is a little bit different to the lake. And it's a challenging thing. So a part of all the racing and everything, that's also a time that you need to control.
And out on the water, on days like today, we could end up with races which are really quite tricky, the wind filling in from different directions. And you need to reset your team. If you have a bad race, you need to reset very quickly. How do you go about that, motivating the team ready for the next race?
Usually they are great sailors in our team and they have lots of experience. So they are used to that thing. So it's before the start we give some push in their mentality and the lights, let's go focus, and some talk and some cheers. So that's usually what you do. But they are so experienced that usually that thing don't affect it. You focus on your job, not on the results.
And going into the day when you're going out on the water, making sure that your hydration levels up, the energy levels are up, must be really important as well.
Yes, the hydration is definitely, with this hot, we need to be really hydrated and be good with your body. And that things, it's normal, they take care of that thing.
Well, it's looking like it's going to be a challenging day. The heat is already building here at Lake Neuchâtel. Let's see how things pan out.
Well, Mark, we are back here for this qualification session in Switzerland. This is the second qualifying series here in Grandson, Switzerland. Let's take a look at who is going to be sailing today out on the water and take a look at the match board here. As you see, we are on the left-hand side of the qualifying series match board. We have already had the Estonians and Lithuanians, as last time you joined us, that qualified themselves to the final series. And right now, it's going to be Group F, so Greece, Finland, and Ukraine out on the water, currently trying to qualify themselves for the finals later on today. Hopefully, we'll have Portugal, Turkey, and Bulgaria. And I say hopefully because we don't really know what's going on with the wind right now. It looks a little bit light, so we're going to definitely try to get things started out on the water. I would like to welcome next to me, we have Robbie McCutcheon. Robbie is back. Robbie, how you doing?
Yeah, good morning, Johan, and good morning to everyone out there. It's a pleasure to be back, and yeah, thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to see these new teams.
I'm excited to have you here, Robbie. Between our break, is living in Mallorca and just won actually the Palma Super Yacht Cup. So congratulations, Robbie.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, no, it was a fun event and a prestigious one in Palma there. So no, we had a good time on board the super yachts, and it's it's a bit of different racing, a bit slower and things take a bit more time, but fun nonetheless.
Fun nonetheless, and that's definitely what we're hoping to have today. Let's take a look now at the day schedule. And as you see here, the plan is today 2 races for each group. So right now, Group F is out on the water with Finland, Greece, and Ukraine. And later on, we'll have Bulgaria, Portugal, and Turkey. So that's the plan for today. Now, let's take a look at the team comparisons. As we have on the 3 teams for each group, we have on the top left-hand side the Northern Magic from Finland. They are SSL ranked number 28th, so they're the best ranked team of this group. And team weight is at 726 kilos, so very, very close to the maximum of 730 kilos. The captain of that team is Oskari Sislina. To the right is Team Greece. They call themselves Team Odyssey. They are ranked SSL number 29, weighing in at another 726.75 kilos. So just a couple grams heavier than the Finnish team. The captain of that team is Emilios Papatanosios. And bottom left-hand side is Team Ukraine. And they are SSL ranked at number 33, weighing in at 725.3 kilos. The captain of that team is Rodion Luka. And that is the team comparisons. And now let's listen to the team national anthems, and we'll be starting with the Finnish national anthem. And so that was the Finnish national anthem. Now for the Greek national anthem. And that was the Greek national anthem. Now for the Ukrainian national anthem. And those were the team national anthems. And now let's go and take a look at who will be racing on these boats. We'll start off with Team Finland. At the bow, we have Simon Karlemo. Number 2 is the mid-bow, Martin Gallenberg. Number 3 is at the pit, Axel Keskinen. Number 5 is the trimmer, Mikaela Wolf. And number 6 is the trimmer, Thomas Tenstrom. The grinder is Ari Koko. On the mainsail, we have Edward Bremer. At the helm, we have Lucas Carlimo. And number 9 is the tactician and captain of this team, Oskari Sislina. And that is the Finnish lineup. Let's take a look now at the next boat, which is Greece. For the Greek lineup, on the bow, we have George Sigoulis. Number 2 is the floater, Krisa Marinu. Number 6 in the pit is George Karadimas. Number 5 is the trimmer, Stelios Nuchos. Number 12, the second trimmer is Eftimios Tsarouchis. Number 4 is the grinder, Adonis Bijouris. Number 7 is the main trimmer, Simos Kabouritis. At the helm and captain of this team is Emilios Papatanasiou. And number 9 is tactician Dimitris Delianis. So that is your lineup for Team Greece. Now let's take a look at who will be sailing on the Ukrainian boat. Starting in the front at the bow is Stanislav Mulko. Behind him in the mid-bow is Valery Harnaha. 3 in the pit is Yuri Ludovosky. 5 is the trimmer of Volodymyr Bogomolkin. The trimmer on the other side is Anastasia Kolesnichenko. The grinder is Valery Kudryashov. The main trimmer is Gigi Paches. At the helm and captain of the team, Rodion Luka. And the tactician is Oskar Madonic. That is your lineup for today's first teams that are out on the water. Let's take a look at the course animation. Shots. As you see, the boats are going to be starting at the bottom on the starting line. They're going all the way zigzagging to the top around both of those the marks, then back down through the gates and up for a second round, then down through the starting line. They can pass through the 2 gates if they want to on that second downwind leg. Yeah. Let's take a look now at what's going out on the water. As we know, we have some boats that have been going out, and let's talk a little bit about the weather, Robbie.
Yeah, that's right. We started this morning with, no wind. The lake looked very, very glassy out there, but we've started to see some breeze fill in from that southwest direction, as you mentioned earlier, Jan. We're hoping that the breeze just comes off the hills in that southwest, and as we can see on the left-hand side of your screen there is the weather forecast for today. So it is light. It's going to be light, but that 255 wind direction hopefully can bring a bit more than the wind speed we see on that weather forecast, and optimistic for today's racing.
Yeah, it's a complicated situation actually right now, because what's happening is that we've got this weather coming in from the southwest, and if it's sunny, it can sort of bring a thermic breeze, and so that thermic breeze will end up by blowing from the east, so exactly the opposite. But we need a lot of sun, and currently we do have some cloud cover. So the question is the thermic breeze, so there we go, there's the live image. So right now you see we've got a couple little clouds, and we could get this thermic breeze going on, but it looks, as we're looking right now onto the water, that the southwesterly has come in, and as we see on both boats now putting up their asymmetrical spinnakers. So it looks like we are getting some wind from the southwest, Hopefully that'll keep filling in, and because the only thing that could stop it is that thermic breeze that tries to start up. So we'll have sort of this east against southwest situation going in, and we have to hurry up because those little clouds are about to turn into some massive cumulonimbus clouds towards the end of the day. So we are expecting storms at the end of the day. So everybody is very, very eager to get things started, especially race committee. So that's sort of the situation for the weather out there. In terms of changes, we do have a couple of changes on the boats, very interesting changes. And as a matter of fact, not only interesting, but very important. As a matter of fact, it has changed the rules, the boat handling regulations.
Yeah, exactly right. There's penalty ramifications if you get these changes wrong, so all these teams will have, known the changes. I was down there at the skipper's briefing and they were talked through very thoroughly with race committee, but there are a few changes, Jan, and I'm sure everyone will be trying their best to avoid these and, adhere to the rules.
Yeah, so the changes we're talking about is actually we now have load sensors on the boats, and we know how much pressure they're putting on the backstay. And we have decided, or the racing committee has decided to put a number on that. So the number is 1.8 tons. If you put more than 1.8 tons on the backstay, or on the runners, shall we say, you will be penalized with 1 point. Now, should that happen on a day, on a double points day, as you know, on the last day is double points day, well, that'll be 2 points. Now, if you go above that and you reach the 2-ton mark, well, you'll get 3 points. And 3 points as basically like coming in last on one race. So it's a really important rule, and something that'll be interesting is we're going to have to check every time we finish a race to make sure that the teams did respect that. It's a question of respect of the gear, of the material, and to not put too much pressure onto the masts.
Yeah, that's right. Oscar, the head of the shore team, did a very thorough discussion and description about why we have these load cells, and now they just want to make sure that it's an even playing field for everyone. And as Jan just mentioned, they just want to respect the gear, respect the mass, and how much bend and how much load they're putting through these forestays. So a nice, very nice indication on how much pressure and load they're putting through these forestays. So yeah, like Jan mentioned, 1.8 tons for no longer than 30 seconds, and then also no one going over that 2-ton mark at any point during the day. Not just the racing, any point throughout the day, even when they're training like they are now.
That's right. And in the rules it says that if you were to go above any one of these points, even between races, you could get penalty points. So it's something that's really, really important, and something that's brand new, and it's new for these guys right now. But it's from moving on forward, it's that is the new rule that will be applied out on the race course. Speaking of the race course, I think we are going to go down to Carolina and find out what is going on out on the water. It looks as though racing will begin. So Carolina, what are you seeing down there, and how is the wind conditions?
Good morning, good afternoon, Jan. Good afternoon, Robbie. It's super cool to be here again, back here on the Lake Neuchâtel. To be honest, I think the weather and the wind is looking promising. That it's a little bit of breeze, so I hope we'll start the racing, not maybe on time, but soon. So yeah, I was also following the trainings yesterday, and I think the battle between the teams will be very tough. So yeah, we'll see. Really can't wait for the first start.
Thank you very much, Carolina. Thank you for that information. As we are currently looking at race committee, and there goes the flag. So that's the 5-minute flag right there that has just gone up. So great to see, Robbie. We will be racing. Oh, yeah. Feels good.
It feels very good to get underway. Day one for all these teams. So like I mentioned, very, very excited to see how these teams deal with this light airs, and yeah, very, very exciting to get racing for race 1.
So we see here as we are on board with Team Ukraine, and as they are pulling the spinnaker down into the boat, as we see right there. As we have our number 13, Anastasia Kolesnichenko. She was just pulling on the retrieval line on that winch to help bring the sail back into the boat. As now it looks as though everybody is getting closer and closer to the starting line, as we are almost 4 minutes away from starting.
Yeah, right. That's right. It looks like it's very, very light wind conditions, as we can see in the background of your screen now, just behind that sailor. So you can expect these teams to really power up these boats and really focus on keeping the boat moving throughout all their maneuvers. And you'd be able to indicate that they're potentially going for a pin-end start, and just making sure that they're keeping the boat rumbling and getting out in their clear lane.
Yeah, definitely. One of the most important things here is to, in these light conditions, is to get distance and timing absolutely correct. So it'll be interesting to see. And this is the first battle for all 3 of these teams against one another. They have been practicing these last couple days, and actually they had an unbelievable weather to be practicing in. We had winds out of the northeast blowing at 15 knots, and well, it's going to be quite a change today in terms of wind conditions. But as you can see right there on other smaller sailboats sailing in the background, there is wind, and the wind is established all over the race course. So even though it is light, it looks like it's great sailing conditions and wind, which looks to be stable more or less all over the race course.
Yeah, that's right. Flat water for these boats, and it's always amazing to see lake racing, because it maybe doesn't look like there's a lot of wind on the water, but these boats are still powered up, and as you can see, the boats are still moving nicely. So we've definitely got enough breeze, and we're excited coming into 2 minutes 30 into the start.
So 2 minutes and 30 seconds before the start, what do you what would you be doing here, Robbie, before the start?
Yeah, this approach, this setup for all these boats. There's 3 boats as we have in this group, and a bit of a smaller start line. So
that start line looks quite small, actually.
It does. So you'd be really jockeying for a position and trying to hold your lane when you come off it, but it's very light winds, and these boats aren't moving as fast as they can be. So I'd just be setting up closer to the start line just to keep yourself having more option. As we can see, the Finland just going behind Ukraine, but you can see the boats are really close to the start line. That is a good indication that these boats are going to get close and make sure that they're not going to be late. If they're early, they have some option, but if they're late, they'll be counted out.
Yeah, what's interesting also about these boats is that they're kind of slow to start up, but once they start getting some speed, they're just a bullet train, and they really pick up speed quite quickly. So the timing is difficult on these boats, because if you think that you're going to speed up and you're a little bit too far, then perhaps you're not going to get to the line on time, and if you're too close to the line, you can't stop the boat.
Yeah, that's right, especially on a start line this small, and with these boats being so large as well. So we just see Finland coming back on port, and you can probably expect them just to tack under the fleet, and I'd be expecting Team Finland to be going for that pin-in start.
Yeah, exactly. I think so too. So that way they can block the other teams and slow everybody down, and be able to have some more space underneath them. Did I just hear a protest, perhaps?
Yeah, we just saw a flag from the Finnish boat there. I believe I saw the helmsman put up a protest flag. I think that was just to do with the tack and completing the tack from the windward boat. We'll see what the umpires have to say about that.
And we'll keep you posted for sure once we get some more information here, as we have all of the boats setting up themselves, and we see Finland. Oh, Finland managed to push Ukraine. So Ukraine is going to have to go around with 12 seconds left. This is great for Team Greece right now, just bearing away, getting some speed. As we see the same thing with Finland, 5 seconds left until we get here. So this looks like a great start for both Finland and Greece. And it's the start right there. So Good job right there for Team Finland being able to eject Ukraine off of the starting line. That's a terrible move for Ukraine right there.
Yeah, really nicely done by Team Finland there. They just shut Team Ukraine out at that boat end, and they just had all the room in the world from then on just to be able to put the bow down and choose their time on distance. And as we can see, Team Greece at the bottom of the screen there, they did a really nice job of just executing that pin-end start and making sure they were up to speed when the gun went.
Yeah, doing a great job. As a matter of fact, they had more speed than Team Finland. So Team Finland dropping behind Team Greece. Finland now tacking off to the right-hand side. And as we see Ukraine in the background. So Greece is going to be tacking right now in order to follow Finland. They're not going to let Finland get away. That's one thing they've learned on this lake is, lake conditions pretty tricky. Anything can happen. So they, for the time being, right now, looks like Greece is not at least bit worried by Ukraine, and their objective right now is to not let Finland get out of their sights.
Yeah, that's right. Early advantage to Greece, and they're doing a really smart maneuver, just attack and keep in touch with the Finnish boat. There's still not much in it, but it's nice to just keep in touch with the boat that's just behind you. And like you mentioned, these lake conditions are shifty, so anything can happen, and a really smart maneuver by Greece.
Yeah, it's interesting now to look at the different ways of sailing the boat. As we can see that Team Finland right now has more people out on the side of the boat, so everybody is fully hiking. We were saying light conditions, but you really don't need much wind to fully power up these boats, Robbie.
Yeah, we can see all the crew hiking out there, so these boats are fully powered up. Just remember, we are on the light jibs, the biggest jibs that are possible, so as much power is going through these boats as possible, and these teams will be looking to get even more power, and to combat that, to negate that power, they are hiking out on the side to keep the boat fast.
Yeah, the more you can hike out, the flatter you can get your boat, the straighter the mast, and the higher up you can point with your boat. Remember, all these teams are more or less at the same exact weight.
Yeah, that's right.
So whoever's going to be hiking the hardest is definitely going to have an advantage.
Yeah, we saw the team weights earlier when you did the team comparisons, and you're absolutely spot on. There's about a kilogram in between these two, or between these three, weights. So you're absolutely right. The team that can hike the hardest gets the better advantage, and it's coming back to how hard these crews work to really get the most out of these boats.
As we are now looking on board with Ukraine here, as we see them putting in attack. And a pretty good move right there as everybody coming up to the windward side at the same time. Now let's see, Ukraine is really going to have to be putting all their weight out there and hiking as hard as they can. They have to do something in order to get back. So the first option that they took was to go to the left-hand side of the race course.
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier, the left-hand side did potentially look a bit more favoured, and I think Greece didn't go out that way just to put that covering tack or that tack in touch with Finland, and I think Ukraine potentially making a little gain out to that left-hand side.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Basically, if Ukraine was to go off to the right-hand side, they would be in the dirty air of the two other boats, so they really had no other choice than to go to the left-hand side where they can get what we call clean air.
Yeah, when you're behind, especially in a group like this with three boats, there's not much room to maneuver behind boats. So you obviously want to be on the different side, the opposite side, just to sort of chance your arm and create a bit more leverage, a bit more distance between the other boats, and potentially get a bit more of a game. But as you can see on your screen there, we see Team Greece doing a really nice job of sailing up when the boat looks locked in.
Yeah, we just saw number 9, Dimitris Delianis, on the back of the boat right there. He is a tactician. He just came from down under and looking at the situation. Here we go with cross right now from the two teams. It looks like right now the Greek team doing a really good job at trimming their boat and actually staying out in front of the Finnish team, pushing the Finnish team back out to the right-hand side.
Yeah, absolutely right. The lane line's not far away, so they're fast approaching that. So really nice job of Greece just to cover attack in front of Finland, just to make sure that they have clean air coming into Mark 1 and then forcing, like you mentioned, Finland away from that ley line.
So definitely we saw Finland over there seem to be hiking a little bit harder than Greece, but however, Greece is managing to probably have a little bit more boat speed and definitely being able to stay out in front of Finland. So right now, it looks as though we are very close, only 500 meters away from the windward mark, which means that no matter what happens, Finland is going to have to tack over, and Greece is going to be able to tack on top of them.
Yeah, that's right. It's a bit of a tough situation here for Greece. They've obviously got Finland out to the right-hand side, but we can see the 2D here showing that Ukraine are really, really close to them as well. So Greece are on starboard. They do have the advantage. We can see them
look
crossing.
At this.
It looks to me like Ukraine might have that cross. Beautiful drone shot of the boats.
Unbelievable. So Ukraine being pushed off of the starting line, as a matter of fact, was perhaps a blessing in disguise, as they went off to the left-hand side and somehow, some way managed to catch a little bit of a lift, or perhaps that we had a left-hand shift in the wind favoring Ukraine, and now Ukraine is back in the game.
Yeah, really good job by Team Ukraine to find that pressure out the left-hand side. And wow, from third, we had them 100 meters behind to now being in front, is amazing. So like we mentioned earlier, anything can happen in these lake light wind conditions, and Ukraine, really, really nice job of picking up that left-hand shift.
So now Ukraine is getting back closer and closer to as you see everybody turning around and trying to figure out, are we on the lane line? Should we tack now, or shall we wait just a little bit longer? And that'll be the tactician's call in the end. But it looks like right now Ukraine has put in that tack. Now take a look at this. Now Greece is back out in front, but there's really nothing in it. We're talking about 40 meters between first and second place. And Greece still needs to put in 2 tacks. Greece will put in 2 tacks, and that'll bring everybody together, because you have to know one thing: these boats, once they tack, they lose quite a lot of speed.
Yeah, that's right. Every maneuver costs a little bit, just a few boat lengths each time you do a maneuver. So you're absolutely right. Greece get to do 2 more tacks to get to this Mark 1, whereas it looks to me like Ukraine are on ley line. But it's worth mentioning that Ukraine went across that right-hand side, which opened the door for Greece to go up to that left-hand side. We saw Ukraine gain out of that side, and so I'd be expecting Greece to come back on a nice bit of pressure and potentially a nice shift to come back and really close between these boats.
Yeah, really interesting to see what's happening now. It's definitely shifty up there. So now did Greece go out off to the left-hand side and manage to get a little bit of an advantage with a left-hand shift? Or let's see what's happening right here as we're looking onto the screen as it looks like Greece. Yeah, so they're having to, you see it, you see the track of the boat as they have to go super low in order to be able to pick up some speed. Oh, and look at this, Ukraine getting it absolutely perfectly right, putting in 2 less tacks than their opponents, meaning that right now Ukraine is in the lead for the first time around the weather buoy. So let's take a look now as Ukraine goes around the weather buoy, and we see them preparing to hoist the kite as they are on their way to the offset. And as we see the pole going out right there, and the spinnaker, the tack is coming out to the end of the pole. They're about to get ready for the hoist, and here we go. As Ukraine is now slowly snaking up the kite, and here we go, full on right now. Ukraine pulling up their spinnaker as fast as possible, and now we're looking for a drop of the Genoa in order to be able to fill that spinnaker. That's going to be really crucial. There it goes. Genoa goes down. Spinnaker's full.
Yeah, really, really good job by Team Ukraine there. The skipper did really well to keep the boat high, and now they're set as we come round as well for Team Greece as they go for their set. It looks like the kite's very quickly up to the top of the mast, so that kite's almost full, and the jib comes down, and there it is. So another beautiful, beautiful set by Team Greece. We've also got Finland in the background there. They've sneaked in their kite just on that dog leg, that spreader leg across to Mark 1A. And really, here they go.
Really important that they keep working on bringing that spinnaker up. If they stop at any moment, they could potentially get a penalty from the umpires right there. But doing a great job at putting that kite up and making sure that Genoa goes down.
Yeah, that jib came down really, really quick on board Team Finland. So you mentioned it earlier, these teams have practiced over the past week or so. And that practice is definitely here now for today and race 1. That was really, really nice. Beautiful maneuvers by all the teams.
Yeah, one thing about these light weather conditions is that the angles that they're going to have, they're not going to be able to really go downwind very much. Yeah, even though they do have the biggest kites possible that we have, and they have these really wide angles. We're talking like 110 degrees.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Usually when there's a lot of breeze, these boats can sail further downwind because they have more power in the sails. But as you mentioned, with these light wind conditions, they have to sail higher, closer to the wind, just to make sure they have enough power to be able to get through the water.
Here we go, as we're seeing our two front runners right now. Ukraine on the right-hand side, and Greece was just on the left. The three of them right there are battling it out right now. Now, interesting to see what is the Finnish boat going to do, because remember, as we're going downwind, the wind is coming from behind them. So if anything were to happen, it would be the Finnish boat that would get that new fresh wind first, even though they are slightly behind right now.
Yeah, there's a bit of advantage being the behind boat in terms of being downwind, because as you mentioned, the breeze does get to them first. So if there is more wind coming from that southwesterly direction, which we have now, then Team Finland will gain a little advantage and really close up this racetrack. But there's 80 meters in between first and third, so that's a maneuvers distance away. So all to play for here, and we see on board Team Finland, we can have a look at all the crew down to leeward and forward in the boat. You just want all that weight forward and just near the mast to make sure that the stern is not dragging in the water as they go through, and making sure that that bow is down and providing all the power through the front of the boat.
Yeah, so it's not just about sail trimming, it's also about crew positioning right there, and a perfect example on Team Finland getting the back end of that boat out of the water. Now let's take a look here as Ukraine is putting in first jibe, as we see Ukraine putting in a jibe, a simultaneous jibe from Team Greece. Team Greece trying to be able to cut the wind off the Ukrainian team.
Yeah, nice Simo jibe there from Team Greece, and it looked to me like they turned just that little bit quicker and their exit angle was a little bit hotter. So as we can see them on the right hand side, it looks to me like they just got moving a little bit faster, and it was a really nicely executed jibe by Team Greece. And Ukraine are really going to have to push to make sure that they keep their air clear, because if they don't, Team Greece will be all over them, and in these light winds, that's a big move.
And one thing we haven't mentioned yet, but is the caliber of the sailors that are on board right there. We have the helmsman of the Ukrainian team. He's been 4 times to the Olympics, and he's done some huge offshore sailing, which back in the day was called the Volvo Ocean Race. Now has changed. He's a lot of experience as well here, as you can see. Emilios, which is driving the boat right there, very, very concentrated. He's been 5 times to the Olympics. He's been twice #1 in the world. So some huge caliber, and we're just talking about the helmsman. The rest of the guys on board, a lot of experience, a lot of professional experience coming up from other boats as well, from the TP52 class, and on board the Greek boat, the #1 and the trimmer. They've been working together for years and years and years. They've been sailing together, so it's really interesting to have these teams come and sail on the SSL 47 and show what they can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Very esteemed crew, and all of these sailors, like you mentioned, these are the best sailors from all of these countries, and they're definitely showing it today with all their maneuvers and the racing that we have going on. But you're absolutely right, Jan, to touch on how well and how experienced these sailors are that we have, fortunately, here at the SSL.
Yeah, and even the younger sailors, because as you know, it's a points system in order to be able to get onto the boats. Basically, if you're a good young sailor, you've been accumulating a lot of points, well, you have the merit to be able to get onto these teams. But of course, we always need some older and wiser guys that have a little bit more experience in order to be able to manipulate these boats correctly. But even the young guys, they've been doing a great job. A lot of them have been perhaps not yet on the podiums in the Olympics, but they have been to the European Championships, the World Championships, and they have some of those young guys, notably in the Finn class, have been doing a great job.
Yeah,
and have gotten onto the podium.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's nice to strike a correct balance, right? I mean, we talked about the young and the older generation, and it's very common to see the older generation, the more experienced sailors, more in the back of the boat, the afterguard, the drivers, the tacticians. They're really leaning on their experience. As we can see, the tactician
Literally
down
leading
to
on
leeward,
the experience.
leaning there and just having a look under the kite just to see that Ukraine boat. I can expect him to be voicing back to the driver on whether their boat is positioned high or low on the breeze of the Ukrainian boat. They'd just be wanting to get inside that pocket of breeze of the Ukrainian boat, just to cast as much of a shadow as they possibly can. But we see all three boats lined up like that, so I can expect all these teams to be thinking the exact same things.
Yeah, really interesting right now to see what if Ukraine is going to continue and grab the gate on the left or the gate on the right. As we are looking at the gates right now, we'll see what happens. It definitely looks like Finland and Greece are going to have to put in one more jibe and one more maneuver. Let's see now what Ukraine is going to do. Perhaps they continue forward, or perhaps they'll put in a jab. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely decision time for Ukraine. If they continue and do a nice rounding around that right-hand gate looking upwind,
Yep,
or
looks
if
like
they,
that's what they're going to do.
or if they choose to jibe and go for the other gate, then they know their competitors behind will have to take that gate as well. So, you know, a bit of a safer maneuver just to do that jibe as they've done,
Yep.
and around this left-hand turn looking upwind, the right-hand turn for them, and it just forces the other teams to then, if they want to go the other way, they have to do another maneuver to keep clear. But Ukraine, a really nice solid maneuver just to stay ahead.
Very smooth, taking their time, really wide lines in order to go around that buoy. As you see, they are already upwind and they haven't yet passed the buoy. Oh, there it goes right now. And so you see that's something everybody out there who's sailing, you can take a look at what they're doing right here, as they're definitely not going straight around the buoy, because that'll slow them down. As you'll see here right now, Finland is coming in very close there, so they're going to have to be putting in a much sharper turn, and that in turn will slow their boat down.
Yeah, Finland doing a really nice job on that second half of that downwind leg. They were just covering the Greek team and just covered the pressure, so they get more pressure. They were faster throughout that maneuver and they jibed earlier, so they just got that inside the buoy room on that mark there, and now they're up into second place.
Yeah, look at the distance that Ukraine has put on the two other boats by managing to keep more speed, as we saw both Finland and Greece putting in a hard turn. Look at the trajectories right there. It's very interesting, as you see the white and the blue dots have a very sharp turn in them, as opposed to the yellow Ukrainian trajectory, which we see them as much smoother and started turning much earlier because they had absolutely nobody to contend with. The result of that, bam, 94-meter lead over Finland.
And potentially Team Ukraine going out to the side that has more pressure as well. So, you know, more advantage to Ukraine as they get further and further throughout this race. You can expect Ukraine to potentially put a tack in and be going the same way as their two competitors, just to cover the race even further. But as you mentioned, beautiful rounding from Team Ukraine, and they definitely deserve to grow that lead after that.
Yeah, definitely. If that's some really smooth. It's really funny how in sailing it's not a question of pulling in your sails, making it tighter, and you'll go faster. Well, a lot of times it's exactly the opposite. You know, let that air blow through your sails and make sure that when you're doing the roundings, you're not going in too tight. Make sure you're not putting in too much angle on that rudder, and you're not slowing the boat down. Every single little move in these light winds is going to slow your boat down, and Ukraine is just doing an excellent job of managing to keep that speed up.
Yeah, it's a case of slow is smooth and smooth is fast in these light winds, and Ukraine and honestly all these teams are doing a really nice job of it. You can see them not hiking anymore on that Team Greece boat, so potentially less pressure and less power in those sails, but we can see the race leaders, Ukraine, finding a nice vein of pressure and being able to hike, and they've got all the pressure and definitely all the control as we come up this second upwind beat.
As we see a little bit of house cleaning going on right there, as Stanislav Mulko is the bowman right there on Team Ukraine, making sure that he's making sure everything's okay, making sure that they're going to be ready to put up that kite as they get back up to the windward mark, which is not too far away, only less than 800 meters away.
It's also worth mentioning that everything's very calm on board. You know, there's not many comms, not much communication between everyone on board. It's very calm, it's very silenced, and they're sailing really, really smooth. We see the bowman, as you mentioned, working away there, and he's just working on his own time, at his own pace, and everything is really, really smooth on board.
Of course, we don't want to forget about the mid-bow and the pit right there. So Valery Harnaha and Yuri Ludovsky, and right there putting their weight to use.
Yeah, that's right. Just touching on it, you're doing a fantastic job at those names there, Jan. That's not easy, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Some esteemed sailors, as we mentioned earlier, and Ukraine doing a fantastic job just to really control this race.
It's really funny. They definitely have some pressure, right? I mean, you could definitely tell that the boat is fully powered up right there. They did it. They have put a little bit more. How do you say? A little bit more depth into the bottom of that mainsail right there. You can see.
Yeah, that's right. We mentioned earlier about the load sensors on the backstay, on the forestay load sensor. Just easing that off just means that the forestay just gets a little bit longer, and it just shorter, and just creates the depth in that luff of the jib, and just creates the depth in that big Genoa. As we can see, it overlaps behind the mast, and they're trying to get as much power in it as they can.
Here we go. Now we're seeing Team Finland right now putting in a attack right in front of Team Greece. So a defensive maneuver right here for the finish. And look, Greece is just managed to keep their speed up and perhaps put a little bit of distance, lateral distance between the Finnish boat. But what will eventually happen is the perturbed air of the Finnish boat will force Greece to have to tack over, and there we go.
And as you just mentioned it, they do that exactly. And also Team Finland doing a simultaneous attack at the same time as Greece, because they wanted to clear their air on Team Ukraine as well. So a lot of cat and mouse, a lot of tacking on top of each other, and these boats, and Team Finland doing a really nice job of just controlling the boat behind them, but then also not getting caught in that bad air of the boat leading.
Yeah, so looks like Ukraine is quite a bit further out in front, 82 meters as a matter of fact. So Ukraine just living their best life right now, and right now it's a real battle between Finland and Greece. Finland protecting the inside, and Greece definitely trying to survive, and with all these attacks from Finland. So right now the battle is definitely between second and third place.
Yeah, it looks to me like Team Finland are in a bit of a high mode. That's just due to Team Greece doing the exact same thing, just trying to sail high and sort of pinch off that Team Finland boat, because like we mentioned, there's two different ways to sail the boat, and if you want speed, you can go lower. If you want the height and be able to live in the lane like we see now, then you just go a little bit slower.
And right now, the Greek team on the top of your screen has the advantage right now, as there is some bad air that is being blown off of their boat, and that's making it really difficult for Team Finland to survive out there. And now, as the boats will tack over, the advantage will change. The advantage will change for Team Finland. But we'll see what happens with Team Greece, as we see Team Greece going out a little bit further, perhaps beyond the ley line, and being able to bear away and having a little bit more speed. We'll see if they can make an attack on the Finnish boat or not.
Yeah, it looks like Finland are on that ley line, and it does look like, you know, the Greek team are overlaid, but as we come into this Mark 1, we can see Team Ukraine doing a really nice job of keeping that lead, keeping that control, And as they go around and bear away to that mark 1A, so they do have that spreader leg, and everyone, the bow team, the trimmers, all doing their jobs to make sure that they're getting ready for this set.
As we see Rodi and Luca at the helm back there, giving his instructions, telling his guys to keep calm. We're going to go a little bit higher, and then we'll bear away. And once we bear away, at that point, we'll put up the kite. Here we go. As we see the grinders in the mid bow putting up the kite. A little bit of a twist, but nothing major. Making sure that we get that Genoa down real quick. Oh, ho, ho. We do have a little bit of an issue here on the Ukrainian boat. So as much as Stanislav Mulko was trying to make sure there was no problem, it looks as though we have a little bit of an issue. Perhaps with the drop line going around one of the sheets or something like that.
It looked like that drop line just a little bit tight, as we can see it there with the drone shot. We can just see it around the crew of the kite, but they've released it now, and the kite's looking a bit happier. As we see Greece come round for their set, it looks like they sneaked quite a bit. That head of the kite going up to the top of the rig there, and their jib coming down. A bit of an issue in the pit. We see number 6 trying to work on that as fast as possible.
Yeah, it looks like there's a knot. There definitely is a knot. Look at the pit right there, as they're not able to bring down the Genoa quite fast enough. So that makes it a little bit tougher for this team because they have to point a little bit higher. It's really important that the first 3 meters of that Genoa go down quickly, because then it'll fill up the top of the kite, and then you'll be able to go down. And as we saw, it was barely a meter that they got down, so they really blocked the filling up of their kite. So issues for both of our front teams, Ukraine and Greece, right there having some problems.
Yeah, we see these maneuvers all the time, and these teams, like we mentioned, have practiced, and they just did this exact same maneuver, but no maneuver is the same. You know, something can go wrong, like we just saw on board. There was a bit of a knot in that jib halyard, and you know, they're obviously not trying to make that happen, but that's just what happens when ropes get pulled and pushed in different directions, and these maneuvers are not the same. So all these crews and all these teams need to be on top of their game to make sure they have no issues.
Yeah, we've definitely seen our fair share of issues with those halyards, and the thing is, there's a couple different ways that you can put those halyards into the bag, and depending on how you do it, you could sort of like do an 8 and then place into the bag. You can do the 8 into the bag, or you can just pile the halyard into the bag as you're doing it. It depends on which team and which strategy they use. Some work better than others. Obviously, the one that was used there on the Greek team, unfortunately, didn't work for them.
Do you have a preference?
I do. Yes, I do.
You want to tell the world, or are you just happy to keep that little secret? I know I'm trying to gain a few tips, especially for sailing these boats. So.
I'll tell you off, but I know all the teams are listening.
Sounds good.
I'll tell you the ways you can put it in there, but I'll keep mine.
Very, very diplomatic. I like it. As we come down the run here, they've got about half the leg to go there, so they're on the second half of this downwind leg, straight into the finish, and we see Ukraine and Team Finland going out to that right-hand side looking downwind, and Greece, the trailing boat, has elected to jibe and potentially pick up more pressure on the inside. We can have a beautiful onboard shot there of the captain and the helmsman on board Team Ukraine. It looks like they're getting up for their jibe and potentially their last one.
Looks like a little bit of pressure coming up from the back as well. So let's take a look at this really nice image right here as we see them putting in that jibe. Now let's see, are we going to get a nice roll out of this? 1, 2, 3, and everybody up. Yes, very nice.
Beautiful. Yeah. Beautifully done there by Team Ukraine, and likewise from Team Finland. It looks like both teams got up to speed and at angle at a really nice pace there. So advantage, to Team Ukraine, but a good job of doing a simultaneous jibe like we saw in that first downwind beat from Team Finland.
Yeah, it's really important to put in that last pump once you get out of there. You can gain at least 1 knot pretty quickly. You don't have to. The thing is, you can't do it too quickly. You gotta wait for the boat to speed up a little bit, and then you can make it a little bit flatter. But look at that, getting a nice little bow wave right there from the Finnish boat.
Yeah, doing a good job. And we also saw the main sheet man on board Team Ukraine there. Just after the jibe, that pump that you mentioned, Jan, he just held the main sheet with two hands just at the main sheet there, just under the UK on the Ukraine writing. He just held that and just pumped the main as they did that pump as well. So just any little extra gain these teams are taking.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that's really important is making sure the battens pass and are switched the other way, because sometimes you can have issues with those battens being the wrong way around.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And wow, it looks to me like Team Greece have got a really nice left-hand shift, so they're really low on starboard and they've got a bit of pressure, so potentially closing the gap on these two leading boats.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are on leg 4. We are only 200 meters away from going across the finishing line here, as we see Team Ukraine having a terrible start, but managing to make the most out of it, and now staying out in front. And it looks like as though the Finnish team have been battling against Greece the whole time in order to keep their position. As we see right now, Finland is putting in one final jibe, and it should be enough in order to be able to stay out in front of the Greek boat. But the Greek boat is coming in quickly, and as we see right here, a final jibe for Team Ukraine is more of a defensive jibe right there in order to be able to conceal their position. And it's looking like, oh, there we go, a nice little pump right there as Ukraine is coming up and getting some speed. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, your the first winner here of the first leg is Team Ukraine.
Yeah, absolutely well sailed from Team Ukraine. You touched on their start, and it was less than ideal, to say the least, but they've done a really, really fantastic job to come back on that first beat, and they led round.
And now in second place right there is Team Finland, and coming up behind them is Team Greece. So everybody very, very close right there. After 31 minutes of racing, everybody has finished within 20 seconds. But Robbie, we did say in the beginning, it's not over until it's really over. And now we're gonna go check and we're gonna go check out the loads that were put onto the boats and see if everybody followed the boat handling regulations. So, as we see right now, that you see that blue boat right there, that is the boat that is going to be going and checking all of that. So what we'll be waiting for is the final decision. As we see, look at the times, 28 seconds. That's not much for after 31 minutes of racing.
Yeah, especially in these light winds as well, you know. So these boats were tight the whole way around. The boat handling was clean for the very most part, and you know, we can expect a lot more tighter races as we get further and further into this competition, and a really, really nice race won by all three of these boats. So, you know, it's going to be tight the whole way around, and we're excited to see, hopefully, race 2. It's also worth touching on that there is a big left shift. We saw the Greek team at the back. They caught into that left-hand shift first and came back into the fleet, but there is a big, big left shift.
All right, Robbie, we're going to go down onto the water. Carolina is ready. Carolina, how's it going out there on the water?
Hi, yes, we are on board with SSL Team Ukraine and Luka. Yeah, the SSL Team Capitan. So, outstanding race. The beginning wasn't very easy as you have to be back, but at the end, you win. How was the race?
Well, we keep it very simple. Very simple. We saw we have a risk at the start, so we make a turn, stay in a clear wind, couple of tacks, and we were lucky a little bit, of course. But yeah, I mean, everyone can win here, so it's just one race. We will try to keep momentum going.
So
it's always nice to be in the first race like this. It's always good.
Before the racing, did you imagine the competitions here like this, or something changed?
As usual competition. Nothing special. Yeah, we have the problem with the instruments. We cannot see the load on the backstay, so we'll try to fix it. So we were a little bit afraid to overload the forestay, and because we didn't have numbers. I don't know how was it.
Okay. And before the last race of today, do you think you will change something on board or with the tactics, or you will go the same?
Keep it simple. Sail as fast as you can on a clear wind, and it comes.
Okay. Thank you very much, and good luck in the second race.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, Carolina, for that very interesting discussion right there. And that's that's pretty much what we were commentating on. And it's just keeping it simple, making sure you're sailing out on the left-hand side where you weren't getting any perturbed air. And like you said, they did get a little bit lucky because there was a left-hand shift that came in. However, it's one thing to get lucky; it's another thing to be able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, exactly. A really nice, cool, calm and collected captain. And, he said simple, a few times. That's definitely what they would have spoken about before going out racing today. And it's absolutely the right thing to be thinking about, keeping it simple, keeping everyone on board calm, not too much communication, and they sailed a really nice race because of that. And I'll be expecting to see these other two teams as well trying the exact same thing.
If we're looking behind the boats right now, really interesting, you can see that we have these looks like little snake clear patches that are out there on the water, and that just goes to show you how on these lakes you can have different winds and how they can sort of snake around. And of course, the drone right now is flying at I don't know what altitude, 40-50 meters or something like that, and it's a little bit easier to see them. When you're down onto the water, it's a little bit harder to see that.
Yeah, that's right. And all these boats have tacticians on board, so it's their job to really be the eyes out of the boat, making sure that they're looking around the race course to spot those patches that you mentioned earlier, and making sure that they're making their boat sail in the breeze, especially in these light wind conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. But one thing which is unbelievable here in this Lake Neuchâtel, is it's absolutely turquoise. Like, you really have the impression we're I don't know, some crazy place out in the world. I guess we are. We are in Switzerland. It's a beautiful place. But absolutely gorgeous. Look at the colors of this lake, and still pretty sunny, and it doesn't look like we're getting any of those big storm clouds around. However, as we're panning around to the right hand side, we'll probably end up by seeing the Jura, and that's where most of these storm clouds are coming off of. So there it is. That is the provisional overall, which means that apparently, good job, Ukraine. They did not overload their force there, so that's a good thing. So first place, you get 3 points. Second place, 2 points, and Greece has 1 point right now out of the 6 races, maximum 6 races that we can do over the next 4 days. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back for the second race of the day. Remember to follow us and to go check us out on Facebook or Instagram, as well as on YouTube. Worldofsailors.com. That is the website where you will find all of the information. And as a matter of fact, if you want to geek out a little bit and you want to go check out all of the amendments that have been made, or if you want to follow all the rules, you can see everything in there. You can really follow along. You can see who the crew list is. You have all of the information that all of the sailors have and that are using and that they're putting in is available to you on that website. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're coming up with second race of the day. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Minus 10, 9, 8. We have a go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
feels like. Oh, wait a minute, now carry on. Okay. Stay down or rise above. Oh, is it a red flag or recklessly in love? When I give it my all, I just wanna be enough. Trying to run it back when I'm cold in the feet. My boat is going mad, so weak. Yeah, I'll take the plunge to see if I float. 'Cause I wonder what it feels like. What? I wonder what it feels like. What? 'Cause I wonder what it feels like. 'Cause I wonder what it feels like. Oh, I wonder what it feels like. 'Cause I wonder what it feels like. Feels like. I'm not in love, guys. Come on. Okay.
A friend of a friend told me you're moving on. Wish I could say I'm surprised, but I'm really not. You were never one for new ones. Couldn't recognize a good thing till it was gone. Did you always see me as replaceable? Or think your damage to me was collateral? Well, if I'm being honest and rational, watching you walk out felt natural. Thought we were written in the stars. I had last dreams and tarot cards. I tried to find a remedy for broken hearts, but I know now losing you is my fresh start. To think I've got a degree in making myself smaller for you, and I have mastered the art of waiting on your every move. Thank God you're gone. Get out. So long. To think I ever believed I had to make myself smaller for you. You always thought you were the center of the universe, but baby, why do you never learn? You're not the last and you're not the first. Don't open your mouth, you make things worse. To think I've got a degree in making myself smaller for you, and I have mastered the art of waiting on your every move. Thank God you're gone. Get out. So long. To think I ever believed I had to make myself smaller for you. Even on a good day, you're a fire. You never came through. You're out of my mind. Even on a good day, you're a fire. You never came through. You're out of my mind. Thank God you're gone. Get out. So long. We're dancing on moonlight cosmic. All I wanna do, your loving is so hypnotic. Ooh, colliding all night, can't stop it. Diving in a summer blue. Your loving is so hypnotic. Ooh, sweat so hot when I shock my body. Come on, come alive. If you want a good time, you got me. Lights, camera, action. Make you wanna love somebody. Drowning in these lights, fever colored high. Do you like it like that? Better heart, never beat, beat, beat so fast. Drop it up, down, back. Falling like a domino. We're dancing on moonlight cosmic. All I wanna do, your loving is so hypnotic. Ooh, colliding all night, can't stop it. Diving in a summer blue. Your loving is so hypnotic. Ooh. no stress, having one too many of a drink like you. If you want a good time, come get me. This beat is heaven. If you wanna toss a penny in a fountain, I wish for no goodbye. Do you like it like that? Yes. Better heart, never beat, beat, beat so fast. Drop it up, down, back. Yes. Falling like a domino. We're dancing on moonlight cosmic. All I wanna do, your loving is so hypnotic. Colliding all night, can't stop it. Diving in a summer blue. Your loving is so hypnotic. Can't get enough, can't get enough. Your loving, can't get enough, can't get enough, can't get enough. So hypnotic, can't get enough, can't get enough. Your loving, can't get enough, can't get enough. Baby, it's so hypnotic, can't get enough, can't get enough of your loving. Can't get enough, can't get enough. Woke up done, can you carry me? When I'm losing my mind, can you hold me? If I'm hazy blue, can you help me?
Can you help me?
Feeling down, can you feel me? When I'm running low, can you charge me?
When I'm running low.
If it's love or talking, you ain't really frying. You do the walk and talk the talk, but drop it. You pull me back, you left me there, I'm falling. Stop, the hell are you going? I'ma hold me up, I'll get myself together. Who'd have thought without you I'd be better? Brace yourself, I'm ready for another. I said it once before. Without you, I'm sunlight, so bright, so right. Sunlight, so bright, so right. Sunlight. Woke up done, can you carry me? When I'm losing my mind, can you hold me? If I'm hazy blue, can you help me?
Can you help me?
Feeling down, can you feel me? When I'm running low, can you charge me?
When I'm running low.
Minus 10, 9, 8. We have a go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, as we are back for race number 2 of the day. Sitting right next to me is Robbie McCutcheon. Robbie, how's it going?
Yeah, very well. Thank you, Jan. And we just had a lovely race 1, so I'm very excited, very optimistic for this race 2. The race committee have done a fantastic job to get the race course set. And yeah, like I mentioned, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's looking better and better out there. It's going to be. We are getting some information in that we are getting some close 20, maybe 30-degree shifts. So it's getting more and more shifty as the day is progressing. But the wind is also coming up. We see the boats now sailing a little bit faster. So right now it's just going to be a really important moment. And the strategy is like Luca Rodan was saying is keeping it simple.
Yeah, that's right. That seems to be the buzzword on board Team Ukraine, and they did a fantastic job of doing that. So I'm sure they'll be trying to do that again, and all these boats lining up in these light airs. You mentioned there's a little bit more pressure now, but you also mentioned there is a lot of shifts. So these teams are taking all of that
Yeah.
into consideration.
Absolutely. And one thing that's going to be really important today is, well, keeping it simple. So what does that mean? That means, first of all, get a good start. Make sure your time on distance is correct. Make sure you've got a lot of speed as you're going across that line. Second of all, making sure that you're staying into clear air. Making sure that you're not sailing in perturbed air of the other boats. And the last thing is getting those shifts right. We're seeing 20 to 30 degree shifts. It's going to be super important for all of these teams to get that right. Whoever gets that right the best will be in front out on the first beat.
Yeah, absolutely. And they all feed into one another, right? If you get a good start, then you're sailing in nice, clean air. And then once you're sailing in nice, clean air, you're fast and you're able to let the shifts dictate where you want to be on that race course.
Exactly, and you can push your opponents to the other side because, they don't want to be sailing behind or cross behind you, et cetera, et cetera. But right now, let's focus on part number one of this whole taking it, not taking it easy, but making sure we're sailing smart. It's going to be the start in less than 2 minutes as we see Team Ukraine off to the right-hand side over there. Just making sure they don't want to get bothered by anybody as we're seeing Greece and Finland circling one another right there. Pretty interesting that they're fighting against one another and not going to attack, Ukraine.
There's still quite a bit of time on the clock, and they are close to the line, but it is interesting to see them doing their circles, and it just looks to me like Greece wants to set up on that leeward end, that pin-in start once again. We saw them do that in the first race, so they're just behind the fleet at the moment as they head out to that starboard or the right-hand side of the start, and you can expect Greece to tack underneath all of these boats. Here they go, upwind and through the breeze.
Hard attack right there as you see Team Greece really pushing the rudder over. Look at the bow just shoving the water out of the way. So very good example on how to stop the boat right there, making sure that they're slowing themselves down as they're getting closer and closer to the starting line right there.
Yeah, both teams really fighting for that pin end, and we see Finland, in the bad air of Team Greece now with less than 45 seconds to go, so they'll have to power up their boat, make sure that they're racing as fast as they can to the line, because it looks to me like they could potentially be a little bit early.
Yeah, look at Ukraine right now, 37 seconds away from the starting line. It looks pretty good from Ukraine as Finland and Greece are battling it out, but it looks like Greece is way too early. If they are going to cross the line, there's nothing they can do. They're going to have to tack over and come back to the other side. That means 2 tacks with 15 seconds left. Same thing with the Finnish team as Ukraine is coming in on a starboard tack. They have the right of way. Now take a look at this. Ukraine has got all the speed they want. 3, 2, 1. Is Greece going to come over early? No. They just managed to be able to get across, but Ukraine has got more speed right now. That was a close one right there for Team Greece.
Hell of a start there. Really, really well done by Team Greece to execute that. A port tack start just to get over the top and over the bow of Team Ukraine as they started on starboard, which is your more conventional way to start. 2 boats heading out on that port side, or port tack, out to that right-hand side. So very, very well done and really well executed by Team Greece.
Yeah, really interesting right there. And it seems to me like there's already a left-hand shift as I'm from the angles of the boat I'm seeing right now. So we've definitely, the battle is back on between Greece and Finland. Ukraine is our leader, and 45 meters lead right now, and it looks like definitely they had a lot of speed. Ukraine just took their time. They're doing exactly what Rodan Luka was saying. They're just sailing smart, sailing easy, not taking any risks.
Yeah, for sure. We saw both Finland and Greece fight for that pin end, and to me it seems like the favored end of the line to start at, both the shift and just in these light wind conditions. But Team Ukraine just happy to keep it simple, like we mentioned earlier, and just sail to that boat end. They were clear, they were free, and they're doing a good job of just sailing clear now.
Finland right now living in a tough place as Greece is slightly ahead and below them. This is a really difficult position for Team Finland, as you see with the whole bow number 1 right there, as they're really having they're going to be having a harder and harder time staying there. So Finland is going to have to tack over and get onto the left-hand side. It's just a matter of time before that happens.
Yeah, all boats on port tacks. That indicates to me that there is that left-hand shift. You'd be expecting Ukraine just to be gaining a little bit and a little bit more, just hanging out on that left-hand side. And as you mentioned, Finland sitting in a tough spot, and both those boats fighting each other even on this upwind leg.
And there we go. It was a matter of time, and now Finland tacking over and getting out of that bad air. Of course, who's following? Greece. Greece is not going to be giving an inch to the Finnish boat right there. And I remember last race, Finland was second, Greece was third. So there is a big battle going on right now between these two boats. And it looks like right now, overall, Greece has managed to take the lead, which is pretty crazy considering the start they got.
Yeah, that's right. Ukraine's still sailing clear. They're just about to come into these two boats, these both starboard tackers. So it'll be interesting to see the decision from them whether they want to continue out to that left-hand side or they're happy to cross over and take the right-hand advantage.
And remember, it's very, very shifty out there, so anything can happen. Right now is Greece is leading by only 3 meters, which is, there's nothing in it. As a very nice tack right there being put in by Team Ukraine on the Finnish boat. Oh man, the Finnish boat is just like a
Pinball
ball
machine.
yeah, like a ball in a ping pong match or something like that. They're just being, pushed left and right and left and right. Is Greece now going to tack over and attack on top of the Finnish boat, or are they going to go after Ukraine? Looks like Greece has decided to change their what do you call it? They're tripping into their strategy and hunting somebody else.
Yeah, we can see on board Team Greece here. We can see the tactician down to leeward, the right-hand side of your screen. He's just looking around. He's looking at that boat, Team Ukraine, just to leeward them. And we mentioned earlier about how important it is on lake sailing, on light wind lake sailing, to be able to look out and be the eyes outside the boat to make sure they're putting their boat in the pressure.
I always see right there on the bottom right-hand side of your screen is the trimmer number 5, Stelios Nuchos. He's really, really concentrated right there. It's super important. That front sail right there, that's the one giving you the capabilities of being able to point higher and closer into the wind. So as you see him, moving his way down there, it's not so important right now. We see that apparently a little bit less wind right now, as opposed to when we were in the pre-start part of the race.
Yeah, not so important that all the crew hike as hard as they can due to those light winds. So it's more important for that trimmer to be down to leeward and making sure he's looking and focusing 100% of his vision and his time into making sure that this jib is as trimmed perfectly as possible and as deep and powerful as possible.
Yeah, so something that's really interesting, and maybe you can talk to us about this, Robbie, is we saw the tailtails on the front of the jib. I mean, who's looking at that?
Well, the driver first and foremost, and the trimmer, but first and foremost, going back to the driver, he's really looking at the tailtails on the jib just to make sure that his steering is at the best angle due to the wind. We've got tailtails on either side of the jib at the front. If the windward side are flying perfectly, then that's fine, and they just want both leeward and windwards to be able to fly, horizontally. But if one of each, a leeward and a windward, are flying, not so well or not flying at all, then they need to change the direction that they're steering.
So who's looking at the tailtails in the back of the general?
Yeah, well, that's the trimmer. There'll be tailtails at the very leech of the jib, and that's why we saw the trimmer go down to leeward and just making sure that all of those leech tailtails are flying well. If they're not, then potentially they're stalling some part of that jib out.
Exactly. So interesting that to just explain a little bit about where each person is looking on the same sail. So we're not all looking at the front of the sail. A lot of it in sailing has to do with looking at the back of the sail and how the wind is escaping or is flowing out of those sails. Right now, Greece tacking in front of Ukraine as we see the helmsman is put in a little bit of he went a little bit to windward, in order to create a little bit of a gap as grease tacked over and obviously lost some speed.
Yeah.
Inevitably, you lose speed when you do an attack.
That's right, and they're just in a nice controlling position just down to leeward, but I think it's worth touching on. We see number 10 there, the helmsman on board Ukraine, Rodion Luka. He did a really nice job of just creating power, out of the attack and sort of coming into grease, but then he sort of just put the bow up and just sort of turned that power into nice height, and it just meant they could live there for a little bit longer, and we can see just a little bit of a lane, just a really tiny gap that Ukraine are trying to live in towards this Mark 1.
Yeah, so this is possibly the worst place for Ukraine right now to be living in, because they're just sailing in the bad air of the Greek boat, and eventually what will happen is that Ukrainian boat is going to slide and drop underneath the Greek boat. So they're going to lose height, they're going to lose distance, and it's a really, really tough place. A beautiful move by Greece, though, because now they're completely controlling Ukraine. Ukraine has no more opportunities right now. They're on the left hand. They're on the boundary right now. There's nowhere they can go. If they go further out to the left, yeah, they'll have clear air, but they're just going to be putting in 2 more tacks, and then they're going to be basically way over the ley line. And now look who's coming into the right-hand side, Finland. So Greece went to attack Ukraine, and Finland got away from everybody. And now Finland is looking like they caught the shifts and the pressure, and they're about to get to be first at the windward mark.
Yeah, we mentioned the second step of keeping it simple was sailing in clear air and sailing your own race, and this is absolutely product of Finland sailing clear and out to that right-hand side. As we see them go round Mark 1, we see the bowman getting the tack of the kite and the head of the kite out. We see the people in the pit sneaking up that head, and they'll be looking to put that bowsprit out not too early, but just right on time when they want to really go for that set.
Yeah, we saw number 2 right there, Martin Gumberg on the Finnish boat, slowly pulling on the windward, on the halyard. And as we're taking a look right now, Greece putting in a very sharp turn right there around the windward mark. And there is the number 1 bowman, Simon Carlemo, who is holding on to the kite. And look at that, number 2 right there. We were just talking about him. Martin is doing a real good job right there at helping to pull up that kite as fast as possible.
Wow, really nice job of getting that jib down as well. That came down really fast. Maybe they were listening to us talk about how to get that jib halyard to run smooth as possible, and that was a fantastic example of that jib halyard coming off, and that jib just fell straight down on board.
Yeah, and even if it doesn't fall right on board, it really doesn't matter, because it's not going to slow the boat down. It's not like the Genoa, which is, the spinnaker, which is going to be in the water, picking up water and everything. The Genoa right there, everything's attached to the forestay. It'll float on top of the water. It's not going to slow the boat down, so it's just crucial to be able to get it down.
Yeah, that's right. And we look on board here. You mentioned number 1, the bowman. He's just holding up that lazy sheet, the windward sheet there, just signaling to the people behind just to take it up, just to make sure that it's not sagging on anything. And they're just putting it just on top of the jib to make sure that it's going to run smoothly for their next
You know what
job.
I really like about that is that he's not actually, that's the worst thing, is telling somebody what to do on a boat. You never say to other people what to do. He's just simply holding it up there, showing, guys, are we going to do something about this, or am I going to hold it up here for a long time? And it's great, because he's not even saying, I've got the sheet, or, there's slack on the sheet or something like that. And instead of saying, pick up the sheet, they'll say, I've got slack on the sheet. But no, he's just putting his hand up. And so it's great to see that they're using body language as well in order to be able to communicate from the front to the back of the boat, because there is quite a bit of a distance.
Yeah, that's right. Just a cool, calm signal, I guess. No communication involved, like you mentioned. Just a signal. So if anyone picks up on that, that gets handled, and in a really calm manner as well. We have a look with this beautiful drone shot. It looks to me like it's a little bit lighter.
It is, yeah, for sure. It looks like there's wind off onto the other side.
These boats sailing very high angles downwind in these light wind conditions, just trying to create the pressure and the speed so they can go downwind, and we can see the clouds in the background really forming.
Yeah, they're starting to get a little bit bigger. remember we were talking about those clouds and how potentially those could be giving us a little bit of storms towards the end of the day. We are actually expecting for those clouds to get bigger and bigger. So right now, let's focus on what's going out onto the water. But obviously, one of the things sailors are definitely looking at is clouds and weather formation.
Yeah, that's right. They'll be definitely making sure they're looking behind. And we mentioned the tactician's job of being the eyes out of the boat. And we just saw on board Team Finland there, the tactician was down to leeward, he was forward, but he was also looking through the handheld compass. They're allowed to have these handheld compasses, which just tells them the jibing and tacking angles of their boat, just making sure he's lining it up towards the next gates. We can see him just behind the aft or the forward pedestal, just in front of the grinding pedestal there. He just has it in his hands and he's just looking to leeward. He's looking forward now, if you can see that, and he's just communicating it back on when to jibe, when to pick that ley line into this gate.
Yeah, so the tactician on that is also the captain of the team, Oskari Sislina. And there you go. There's a number 9 right there. He's checking out the angles. So they know that right now they're sailing at probably an angle of, I don't know, of 100, let's say, something like that. And they've got, in these very light wind conditions, we got at least 110 degrees difference. So he's just waiting to see when he's going to line that up. Obviously, the less maneuvers you're going to be making downwind, the slower, the least you're going to slow your boat down.
Yeah, that's right. The maneuvers do cost a little bit every time you do them, so a ley line is very, very important, especially in these light winds, and there's a lot of discussion going on just to make sure they get it right.
Yeah, if you look at number 5 right there, Michaela Wolf, she's talking. She's not just talking to herself. I guarantee you, she's talking to everybody to give some information about what's going on.
Yeah, and there's more factors that come into it as well. They're looking at the boats behind them. I saw the main sheet trimmer look behind just to make sure that these boats, when they do jibe, there'll be clear air on the other board. They've got grease right behind them, so if grease end up doing a simultaneous jibe, then they need to be aware of that as well.
Yeah, Stelios Neutros right there that we were seeing as he's really being very, very careful in what he's doing as we're looking at Finland right now, putting in another jibe. It's going to be important to get that pump. So first of all, fill up the spinnaker, ease it out, and then get the boat flat. Guys, there are so many things that need to happen for the boats to be able to sail correctly. And it's even harder when the conditions are light. It's because every little maneuver counts.
Yeah, even, making sure that all the crew are light on their feet as well. A heavy step in one direction at the wrong time, it makes a huge difference. So you saw everyone and you heard the communication there. They all were in time. They were all in sync, making sure they did the pump at the exact same time up to that windward side. Look
at that now, sailing back into some pressure. As well, also, continuing on talking about what you were saying, we saw that the main sheet, they pulled it in a little bit later. Why is that? Because the boat is slow when it comes out of a jibe, so you want the boat to build up. As the boat is building up speed, it's going to change your angle, your VMG angle, and therefore you're going to be able to put on a little bit more sheet and get that boat to go a little bit faster, and then move all the guys forward, and then continue on trimming the sails. It's unbelievable the amount of work that needs to be done, and I think we're definitely passionate about sailing, Robbie, and it's just a pleasure to be able to explain this to you, and with these amazing shots that we have, and to be able to look on board, and it's unbelievable. I mean, look at this. I love it. I love it.
Really, really well said there, Jan, and said with a lot of passion. You're absolutely right. But as we're seeing these beautiful drone shots you mentioned, it just shows that everyone has their little role to play, and it all comes back and just making sure that the priority is the boat, and making sure the boat is going as fast as possible, and these teams are working as well as possible.
Yeah, exactly. We see right there that the finish, they're starting to put on the drop line right there from the back as they're preparing that drop line. And so that's going to be the next big move, as there are no more jibes or perhaps one last one. But I don't think so. The angle is too tight, so they'll just be doing a windward drop for the Finnish boat. It's not a. It's well, yeah, it's probably one of the hardest moves in terms of dropping the kite. If it's done well, it'll just drop right onto the boat. So right now they're putting up their Genoa. Let's walk you through this maneuver because this is a cool one. They're putting up the Genoa right now. And remember, they're going to have to put in a jibe. So what they're going to do is they're going to ease that sheet. As you can see now, they are already pre-tensioning the drop line. You can see how that drop line is now putting pressure in it. And they're managing to wrap the whole spinnaker around the forestay and bring it down into the boat right there. And when it's beautifully done like this, it just looks so easy. But it's also so easy to mess it up and have the whole thing go into the water. What a great move right there. Now, remember what we were talking about in terms of making a tight turn? So Finland right there, beautiful drop, but a really tight turn, so slow.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Really well executed from Team Finland there, but
Let's take a look at Greece right now.
The turn was tough.
So Greece right there doing a really good, the same exact maneuver, really bearing away. Spinnaker a little bit into the water, but I don't think it's much of a big deal, as right now they're able to round up slowly and keep a little bit more speed.
Yeah, we saw the main coming on a lot earlier than the jib, and what that does is really help the boat turn up. So the main and the power in the main turns the boat up, and the power in the jib turns the boat down. So they really start with the main, wind that on, and then just follow it up with the jib in a really nice rounding. And we see Ukraine having to go really low just to get that wide rounding on the mark, and we should be able to see the main sheet man going to wind in the main sheet, and the jib should follow. Here we go, we see him.
Yeah, it's really important to go really low in order to get the mast to be straight, in order for the spinnaker to drop onto the boat. If you don't do that, then the spinnaker will drop outside the boat, and then it's just a big old mess right there. So that's why we saw them bear away like that.
Yeah, really nice tight rounding. We saw the mark just on the side of the boat. They didn't touch it, but just on the side of the boat of the Ukraine, and we see their 2D tracker there.
Yeah, we even saw Rodi and Luca looking back at the to make sure, are we gonna get penalized or not? But no, they didn't.
That's always an indication that you're close, but close is good in these, especially in these tight races. So well done to them.
So I want to go back and touch on what we saw. Who was, I think, Team Greece round, and we saw that the Genoa was a little bit flapping. And as a matter of fact, a lot of times when I see beginner sailors, they come down to those leeward marks, and the jib is on, full on, and everything. And actually, that's slowing down the boat. So another thing that these guys are doing is they're deciding which sail they're going to be pulling on first. You know, which sail they're sheeting in first, in order to be able to help the boat go around. And if you do that, if you work with your mainsail and you help your boat luff, well, then you're going to be putting in less rudder angle, and less rudder angle means more speed. So that's another thing that they're adding into the how they're sailing their boats.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw that in a great example. No, you're absolutely right. We saw the jib come on really late, and you mentioned it just helps the boat round up, and it means that the helmsman, like you mentioned, just doesn't have to put too much rudder angle in the boat, and it means that they're fast on their exit. So a really nice job with most of these roundings, or all these roundings actually.
Yeah, that was a beautiful, from everybody, that was a really, really nice rounding. And we didn't see the Ukrainian drop, but look, I mean, I could tell you it went down perfectly because the boat never stopped, and we never saw any panic on board. So
yeah, that's right. And we can see a nice drone shot here of all the boats and the mountains behind, but we can see all the boats are on port tack, so an indication that there is a left-hand shift. And you know, on board the Finnish boat, they chose to do that right-hand turn to make sure they're out on that left-hand side on the second beat, and they're definitely reaping the rewards. They're definitely on a nice left-hand shift and controlling.
Yeah, and I really think there's a massive left-hand shift right now. Actually, that's going on. So it'll be interesting. Apparently, there was no change in the direction of the there has been no change in the course setting. So the marks are still exactly at the same place.
Exactly the same, and they will still have that spreader leg as well. But
look at that.
Yeah, we're seeing on board here with Greece, you know, we can see the helmsman just turning the wheel. You see him just right there. He's turning it to windward, meaning that they're just getting a lift the whole time. He's just putting the bow even closer towards the breeze and even closer towards this Mark III.
Yeah, maybe we can get the 3D image, and as we can really tell that there's a big left-hand shift that's coming in. And so it's a really good right there for Team Finland. And I think the ones that are furthest out to the right-hand side, they're the ones that are going to be having the toughest time.
Yeah, it looks to me like they've got a bit more pressure as well. It looks like everyone's, jumping out to that windward side and hiking a bit harder, and the boats look a bit faster. So, they're changing things as soon as they get a bit more power or a bit less power. And it looks like they're doing a good job of hiking out and changing their settings just to make sure they're maximizing that.
So with this left-hand shift, what's going to happen is Finland is going to take a lead as soon as everybody's going to tack over. And now what's going to be really interesting is Ukraine. Ukraine, perhaps this is a really a good thing for Ukraine, as they'll be able to get closer and closer to the Greek boat as we'll see what happens as all of the boats are going to be attacking. There we go. As you see, a nice left-hand shift right there. So Ukraine, you look at the top left-hand side of your screen, that's should be going down, and Finland right now is your leader. So probably a nice good move right here for it wasn't really their decision, but the wind decided to go left, and that's a good thing for Ukraine right now.
Yeah, well, you can definitely expect that the tacticians saw that left-hand shift and they were able to dictate terms because they're in the lead. So they've done a really, really nice job in smart sailing to make sure they got on the left-hand side of the fleet. And now they've just grown their lead just that little bit more as they tack on the starboard ley line into Mark III.
I'm already starting to calculate, what is the total amount of points between both of these teams. It looks like right now, if we stay like this, Finland and Ukraine are going to be tied up at 4 points.
Well, even Greece, if they got the second or 2 points in that first race, then they'll also be on 4 points if things stay the same as well. 3 points, excuse me. It's still very tight, and we had the leader from the first race, now in third place.
Yeah, it's really interesting because you can check out what's going on the water, but also you can sort of start calculating to find out which team is going to be out in front. So everybody, we're hoping you really enjoy this, as we really do have some nice sailing conditions. Yeah, it's not super strong, but it's definitely fun enough for us to be able to see how everybody is working. And like we said, these light wind conditions, it's really interesting to watch everybody work. We're looking right now onto the finished boat, which has arrived at the windward mark, and we're seeing in the background it looks like Team Greece is rounding the windward mark. Now let's take a look here as the spinnaker is about to go up here on the Finnish team. Looks like quite a bit of power. You see that? They ease the mainsail first. Why? Because we said the jib allows you to bear away, so that's to get a little bit less rudder angle. And now the spinnaker goes up as fast as possible. We see everybody, and a drop of the Genoa. I love it.
Wow.
And there it is. And that's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. Bear away, ease the mainsail first, hoist the kite, and drop the Genoa as fast as possible.
Seriously smooth there from Team Finland. Well executed as they did on the first one. Oh, not so smooth from Team Greece. A bit of a twist in their kite, but potentially coming out as we see the jib go down. And wow, the kite did pop, but it took a little bit of time.
Yeah, they're lucky that it popped. Oh, I think we're going to have another little bit of what's going on right there in the back there with Team Ukraine. That's not as good as what we've seen Team Ukraine do right there, as they're having a hard time hoisting the kite all the way to the top. There's at least another 2 meters. It looks like the kite is into the water. So this is not very good news for Team Ukraine, as they're having a tough time getting the kite all the way to the top. And the jib hasn't come down yet. Sorry, the Genoa hasn't come down yet. So real nice move from Team Finland. Hoist from Greece and Ukraine. Unfortunately, things going onto the boat. That was they've done much better.
Ukraine really trying to push it there. We talked about, or the helmsman talked about keeping it simple. That was not keeping it simple. Hoisting before that 1A, that spreader leg, and it just goes back to, they're in third place. They're potentially trying to chance their arm a bit more. There's a bit more pressure on them, so they're just making decisions are a little bit different. It's easy when you're at the front of the fleet and you can dictate your terms and you can make everything simple. But if you're at the back, you have to try these things.
Yeah, remember,
potentially
Ukraine,
it won't come
when they
off.
were out in front, they decided to go high above that mark in order to be able to have a nice, clean set. This time, they didn't do that. They were eager to get to that mark, to sail less area, and they wanted to go fast. And there you go. So it was much better when it was slow, because actually slow is fast. And so tough hoist right there for Team Ukraine, but beautiful job Team Finland right there, as they are our leader currently with over 100 meters lead.
Yeah, they're sailing really, really nicely at the moment, really smooth. You see the number 5 on board, the trimmer.
Michaela Wolf.
That's right. She's just communicating just what she feels, the pressure in the sheet, as she's holding the front sail, the spinnaker, the Jenica in this case. She's holding that and she can just feel the pressure. If she's got more pressure in the sheet, she's able to ease it and and communicate to the helmsman to sail a bit lower. But if she can't feel much pressure, then she's communicating back to make sure that they're on a nice angle.
Yeah, and as you see, number 7, which is just on the other side of the boat, facing right there, that's the mainsail trimmer, Edward Bremer, and he is also doing the same thing with his mainsail. He's really feeling how much, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot of pressure that he has to be pulling on that, because it's that mainsail is huge.
Yeah, they are definitely the big sail that everyone sort of looks at and is always up. The Genoa comes down, the Jenica goes up, but the mainsail's always there and doing a good job.
It's really interesting to look at Michaela, and as she's also doing the same thing, and she's herself right there sheeting in, because there's not too much power, and she's able to do that. Generally, what happens is you have a grinder that's grinding, because she'll have one wrap around the lower winch. Right there, she doesn't need to. There's not so much pressure as they're keeping their boat nice and low. But as you see, she's always working it. So now she's sheeting in a little bit, even though there's 2 wraps. I see, 2 wraps around the lower winch right there. And she's talking, and when she feels the pressure, she's gonna say, "Okay, I got pressure." See, that's what she's saying right now. She's easing away, and look in the back, the helmsman, he's going to bear away, and he's going to go down a little bit. There we go. So now Michaela has passed off the sheet to the offside trimmer. She's going back to the other side. There we go. She's got it right now. She's making sure that kite is full, then easing it out, and then getting the boat to flatten out. And that's how you get that nice little acceleration.
Really smooth jibe there, and well said, Jan. That's absolutely what they're doing, and everyone pumping at the same time as well, just to capitalize on that power that they have. The main trimmer there just pushing the boom out to make sure that it's a later main jibe, just making sure the main comes across later throughout the jibe to get the power of the main flopping over, and then also the power of the spinnaker at the same time.
Yeah, we saw right there the grinder, Ari Coco, and he was putting on the offside sheet right there, getting ready for the next maneuver, because it definitely looks like right now they're sort of in the middle of in the middle of the playing field, and they're going to have to put in another jibe. So look at this, what a great view right now as we're seeing all 3 boats together, and Ukraine right now looking like they're putting an attack on Team Greece.
Yeah, that's right. It looks to me like the distances between the boats, Finland have done a good job of controlling. Greece, and now it's their turn to protect their breeze. And, the call must have come in that potentially they were getting bad air, so they are putting their jibe in now. Ukraine doing the exact same thing, and you mentioned it, they're just on the attack, trying to get another point and get up this racetrack. Yeah,
really important right now for Ukraine in order to be able to take the lead, as right now it would be a tie between Finland and Ukraine. So Ukraine right now is putting in an attack on Team Greece, and in order to be able to perhaps get into that second place. What a great job right there by Team Finland, going across and getting their first win right now. So that's putting up 3 points onto the leaderboard for this race for them. But what's going on right here? Oh, it's going to be too little too late for Team Ukraine, and as we see Greece right now. So Greece will be happy about that in order to be able to put on 2 points onto the leaderboard right there. So keeping the game alive here. Really interesting as we have 2 boats with tied points right now in this fleet's F right now.
Yeah, it's day 1 of racing. This is just after the second race, and you can't win the regatta after the first day, but you can definitely lose it. And these boats are doing their best to make sure that the points are tight after 2 races, and the races were tight as well. So there's absolutely nothing in between these teams.
Come on, Greece, man. They just dropped the kite into the water. That's not cool.
No, it usually happens,
I would be so mad.
Once you cross the finish line, you sort of tend to switch off just that little bit, and it's probably that.
So, anyhow, Group F, race 2. So, 3 points for Finland, 2 for Greece, and 1 for Ukraine. Now, let's take a look at what that turns out to be in the provisional overall standings. So, Finland with 5 points. Right, okay, yep, nope, I was wrong. Don't know how to do math. Finland with 5 points, Ukraine with 4, and Greece with 3. So 1 point difference between all of these teams. And looks a good job. So Finland taking the lead right there. Ukraine was up and down.
Yeah, that's right. They just didn't seem to find it on that first beat. So they were sort of trailing that whole racetrack. To be honest, they just got into that fight. If we remember, they got into the fight against Greece on that left hand, the port ley line coming into Mark 1, and they just weren't able to claw it back. But there's 6 races left, with this group, so there's lots more points to play for.
Yeah, for sure. So those are the 2 races this group will be doing. As you can see right there, we've got the teams that are changing right now out onto the water. Now, let's go down onto the water and let's talk with Carolina. Carolina, what's going on?
Hello. Congratulations, you in the last race, the second race of today. It was great performance. So how do you cope with the pressure during the light wind races?
It's always difficult to race with the light winds. A lot of patchy areas here and gusts and big shifts, but we get used to it sailing in Finland also. Always difficult with light winds.
So at the beginning, the start wasn't probably as perfect as you can imagine, but after that you catch up a lot of meters and finally you win. What was the key to be first on the finishing line?
Yeah, I think the start was a bit tricky for us. We sort of knew that we won't be able to start on starboard already at 120. We were going for the port start, but then Greece managed to cross the Ukraine, which was a bit difficult for us, so we lost the lane a bit there. Luckily, we got free on the upwind and could do our own tactics. It was good pressure on the right, so I picked that one, and we're leading on the first top mark.
As I can see, the level on every team is very similar of the sailing. You're changing the places at the end of the racing. Do you think after today you'll change something on board with your team to sail better and better next days?
Yeah, obviously we're always about improving. Small improvements here and there. Maybe mainly about the starting. Especially it's a bit difficult because the starting line is really, really short, and it's always a bit weird with 3 boats because it's not quite match racing, but it's still getting close to that. So I think starting will be the one thing we work the most for tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. So thank you. Have a good rest today. And we have to finish that. We're switching the teams now. The SSL team Bulgaria will jump into the boat. So thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that on-water interview. As you can see right there, we are switching teams. So we are, that was Group F, and we are now going to Group G there it is. So race number 3. So we've got Group G, Bulgaria, Portugal, and Turkey. So that'll be their first race out on the water. We'll just wait for those teams to be able to to get onto the boats. And let's talk a little bit about the teams that are sailing today. So on the top left-hand side of your screen is Team Bulgaria, the Lions, SSL ranked number 64th. Team weight 719 kilos, and the captain of that team is Javor Kolev. To the right-hand side is Team Portugal, the Navigators, SSL ranked number 23. The team weight on that is 728.45 kilos. Captain is Rodriguez Joao. And bottom left-hand side is Team Turkey, the Young Turks, SSL ranked number 30th. Team weight is 727 kilos. And team captain of that is Alishan Kainar. That is the lineup right now for the teams that are sailing out there that are actually doing the switch right now. So now let's take a look here at who will be sailing on these boats. As we are telling me, actually, no, we are going to go into the anthems. So let's take a look. Let's listen to the first national anthem. That was the Bulgarian national anthem, and now for the Portuguese national anthem. And that was the Portuguese national anthem. Now for the next anthem, the Turkish national anthem. And that was the Turkish national anthem. Now let's take a look at who will be sailing on these boats. Let's start off with Bulgaria. Starting off in the front, we have Lubin Todorov, and the number 1 is the floater Boris Minkov. At number 3 in the pit, we have Ina Ileva. And number 5 as a trimmer, we have Mihaela Alexandrova. The offside trimmer is Mikhail Berberov. As a grinder, we have Krasimir Naumov. As a main trimmer, we have Viktor Katelyev. And the helm, we have Ivo Tudorov. Now, an interesting thing is Ivo and the bowman Lubin are actually brothers. And in the back, we have the tactician, which is Lubin Tenekijiev. So that is your lineup for Bulgaria. Now let's take a look at the Portuguese lineup. Starting off into the front, we have number 1, the bowman, Manuel Dantas. Number 3, floater, we have Tomas Pires de Lima. And next to him is Diana Neves, number 11 at the pits. Number 5, the trimmer is Nuno Barreto. Number 2 is the offside trimmer is Thomas Barreto. Behind we have the grinder, number 4, Felipe Silva. And main sail trimmer is number 7, Renato Conde. At the helm is Alfonso Domingos, and number 9 is the tactician Hugo Roca. And so that is your lineup for Team Portugal. Now on to Team Turkey. So in the front of the bowman, we have Kıvanç Sevinç. And number 11 as a floater, we have Umut Iri Parmak. Number 3, we have Ekin Bio Kilmas. Number 5 as a trimmer is Jem Guzen. Number 6, the other trimmer is Melis Baykan. Number 4, the grinder, Berkay Abay. Number 7, and the mainsail is Anil Berkbaki. Number 8 is Honur Bilgin. And number 9 as the tactician is Alican Kaynar. That is your lineup for the 3 teams that have just switched boats out onto the water right now. Now let's take a look at the course animation. So they'll be sailing the same course that we saw earlier. As you see the animation here where they're taking a start and they're tacking on their way up, going around the windward buoy, then the offsets, then down back through the 2 gates, back up to the windward mark, and down to the finishing line. Let's take a look at that again. As you see, they're tacking on the first windward. They'll be going around both of those top buoys. And now look at the top buoys. Only one of them is lined up, even though they're going around both, because perhaps we could get a change in direction and we could get a Charlie, so Charlie plus or minus, green or red, depending on what the wind is doing. Now, let's take a look here at the match board. As you take a look on the left-hand side, we are currently in the qualifying series of Europe. We have already had Estonia and Lithuania qualify themselves when they were here from the 8th to the 11th of June. Currently, we have the group F and G. We just saw Greece, Finland, and Ukraine sailing. Currently out on the water, Portugal, Turkey, and Bulgaria. At the end of this qualification series, one team from each one of those groups will move on to the final series and get their ticket to be able to go to the finals in Rio of November this year. We still, however, need to qualify Pan America, and that's when we'll have Group H, I, and J that you see on the very bottom left-hand side of your screen. On the top left-hand side, we have already had Asian and Africa and Oceania qualifiers. So the Philippines, Oman, Tahiti, and the Seychelles have all already qualified. Once we get over to the finals over in Brazil, we'll be starting out in the 32nd of the finals. And exactly like the Football World Cup, because remember, this is the Sailing World Cup, each team will then eventually be eliminated. The top 2 teams will then move on through each one of the finals until we end up by having our winner, and that will be the nation's world champion winning the SSL Gold Cup. So that is how everything is going up together, and right now we're just in the very beginning with the qualification series. So a really important moment for all of these teams right now to be able to qualify themselves to get that golden ticket in order to be able to go to Rio in just a couple months. So Robbie, we've got some images from out on the water. Looks like the teams have made the switch and will be ready to go racing.
Yeah, that's right. It seems that Carolina is now down on the water, so she'll give us an interview and tell us what's been happening out on the water.
Yes, we are just basically behind the starting line. As I can see, the boats are preparing for the warning signal. We have still a few minutes to go. In my opinion, wind conditions are very similar to the previous races, maybe with just a little more breeze across the race course. So yeah, I'm very curious how the team will go during the race. It's shifty, it's tricky conditions, but yeah, at least we don't have a rain, so amazing. And yeah, let's see how the races will go.
Before we switch off to you, what's it looking like on the Jura? Are we looking like where some storm clouds are coming in, or are we looking like we can do some 2 nice races?
So you ask about the clouds because I didn't hear correctly?
Yes, that's right. Are you seeing any big storm clouds building on the Jura right now?
Oh yeah. At the top of the Lake Neuchâtel, I think it's going to the clouds are coming to us. As you said at the beginning of the day, the storms maybe will come during the afternoon. I think it's kind of like the feeling before the storm. You know, that feeling that it's going to be very, very hot and warm on the water. You have a little bit of breeze, and after that the storm comes. I hope the storm will wait until we finish the racing. But yes, you're totally right. A little bit of cloudy weather is coming to the race course from the top of the Lake Neuchâtel.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for giving us that insight, Carolina. So obviously, it's not just the teams that are racing against each other. We are also racing against the weather. So we got to get these races in. It's really important that we get these 2 races in as we're looking right now. Across the starting line, Robbie, as we can see right there, they're about to put the 5-minute flag up, and that will be, there we go. There, bam. That's it. So that is the SSL flag that goes up, and 5 minutes on the clock, and it's racing time, Robbie.
It's racing time, absolutely. And interesting to hear from Carolina that it is similar conditions now. But you're the local expert. You knew that these clouds were going to form, and all these boats and all these teams will be looking at that as well, because as they got wind, they're just getting closer towards it. And likewise with these clouds, they're getting closer towards this fleet as well. So things could change, but currently we have similar conditions that we had in the last 2 races. So hopefully we have similar tactical type racing.
Yeah, and if those clouds do come in, they could come in really strong. The only problem is those clouds are coming in from the same exact direction from where the harbor is, where we need to go to. Yeah, should these clouds, should we have to cancel racing. So anyways, let's focus on what's going on right now in front of our screen. We've got 4 minutes left until the start. Remember, this is the first time these teams are battling against one another.
Yeah, that's right. Race 1 for this group, so nerves will be up. You know, it'd be a little bit tense on board, but that's just natural with race 1 in any event, and especially for these teams. They've been practicing, you know, for the past couple of weeks, and now they really want to put that practice into race number 1 and really assert their dominance over their other 2 competitors.
Yeah, we also have a little bit of a difference in terms of ranking for some of these teams. As we see, Bulgaria ranked 60th something, and Team Portugal here is in the top 30 ranked teams. So we do have some pretty big discrepancies in terms of ranking. Turkey is right along with Team Portugal. So it's you know, the outsider right here is definitely Bulgaria. I like to root for the underdog.
I'm sure you do. You're a true Swiss man. But yeah, you're absolutely right. But these light wind conditions can provide a bit more opportunity as well, you know. So that could work in Bulgaria's favor, and, you know, with more opportunity becomes, you know, more difference and more snakes and ladders between the teams. So
I remember
potentially
Bulgaria
a decision will make the difference.
Yeah, Bulgaria is sails on the Black Sea, and they have very, very, you know, varying conditions over on that sea. So they'll be quite used to having these really shifty, strange conditions, as opposed to the other 2 teams, which sail, granted, on the ocean, but or on the Mediterranean, and they have more stable conditions. So it'll be interesting to see how Bulgaria right here in these lake conditions and these shifty conditions will be able to have an advantage or not.
Yeah, that's right. And we're just under 2 minutes to go in the start line. So boats just preparing for their final approach. We see 2 boats on port tack heading out to the right-hand side of the start line, and we see Portugal coming back. You can probably expect Portugal to come past Bulgaria, tack behind them, and then potentially set up. There we go. As they do that, tack, you could probably expect them to go towards the fleet here, tack underneath them, and potentially hunt for that pin-end start like we saw in both races with the other group.
Yes, exactly, and we'll see what happens here as the windward boat right now, which I think is Turkey. So Turkey is starting to do sort of a big circle, and perhaps Turkey right now moving in and getting on the other side of the Portuguese team. So depending on what we're seeing now, we're seeing Turkey in the back is going to do attack. So that's definitely going to slow them down. We have 1 minute left until the beginning of racing, as we see the 2 teams over on the right-hand side coming back. Turkey right now putting in a big tack, so that's going to be slowing them down, as we see Portugal right now having a pretty good positions, staying low, keeping their speed. So either Portugal is going to go low and is going to luff Team Turkey, as we can see Portugal right there having quite a bit of speed. Turkey looking down over now onto Portugal as we're 37 seconds away, as we're seeing some really big maneuvers from both of these teams. And look at that, Portugal is nice and calm right there as we're about 20 seconds before the start. We're seeing a lot of maneuvers right now from the Turks, and are these 2 boats going to be a little bit low right now? It looks like Turkey is trying to kill some time. Bulgaria right now having just a perfect start right now. Turkey going to have to go high. There's 4 seconds left into it. It looks pretty good. Oh, look at that. Well, Portugal actually is not able to make it across the line, and they're not going to get the best start for sure. They're going to have to go and doing a port tack start, but a great start right there for Team Bulgaria, keeping up their speed and tacking out and putting themselves into the middle of the race course. So interesting start right there for all of the teams. And wow, Turkey just moving around out there like a loose goose.
Yeah, they executed that to the 1 second. Absolutely, they were just on the line. I thought, from my eye, it looked like they were a little bit too far advanced, got a little bit too close to the start line, but they timed that perfectly. And I think it's advantage to Turkey as they tack over onto port tack and come back into the fleet with a controlling position.
I can't believe that Portugal actually didn't get a really nice start. I was expecting the skipper to be able to get a better start than that, but he sort of got squeezed out right there from the Turkish boat, and had to put in attack. But then eventually managed to get a port attack and.
Yeah, that's right.
Good start.
No,
finally.
smart decision by Team Portugal just to get out of there. They knew that they were in a bit of trouble, so it's better to get out of there early and, sort of relieve the pressure and sail simple. And, they got clear air, and it looks to me like the favoured board as well. So, it's very, very close.
Bulgaria, what a start. What a start from Bulgaria. Staying out of trouble, not getting close to Portugal, not getting close to Turkey, just coming in on a starboard tack and being able to just have a lot of speed. So a really good job there on Team Bulgaria, as we're seeing right now that the leader is Turkey. So right now it looks as though there is definitely some shifty conditions out there, because they were rather slow at the start, and for them right now to be in first place means that we're getting some pretty big shifts out there onto the water. And apparently we're getting some pretty good wind too, because it looks as though everybody is hiking right now.
Yeah, really nice shot on board. Turkey in the foreground here. We've got the four up the front, putting their body weight together, making sure that their mass is together and they're at the same point. So they're all hiking really hard, and we can see the onboard here, just the grinder holding the handle, the winch handle, just to be able to hang out there. And there's a bit of separation between the grinder holding that winch handle hiking and then the four at the front, which we haven't seen too much of, to be honest. But I guess the Turks are wanting to just get their weight as far forward as they can, and the bowman, the mid bowman, the pitman, they're all trying to stay up front and forward. So Turkey definitely advantage, and it looks like they're sailing really, really nicely. A lot of communication from their tactician down to leeward up to the helmsman as well.
Exactly, number 9 right there. That's the tactician, Lijan Kainar, and he's going down there to check out what's going on with all of the other boats. All of the other boats are to his starboard side, and so he's just trying to see how his positioning in order to the fleet is going right now. Doing a good job right there. Looks like Turkey is probably into a little bit more pressure. Wow, look at the difference in angles right there for Bulgaria and Portugal. Bulgaria right there living in a tough spot. It looks as though they must not be in the same wind, because there we go. Now they're in the same wind. Yeah, remember we were talking about those wind vanes? I mean, you just saw a perfect example right there, as Portugal was able to go up a lot higher than the Bulgarian team.
Yeah, that's right. Just a little vein of pressure. These pockets of pressure are really, really small, and that's an amazing example of Portugal getting the shift, Portugal getting the pressure, and Bulgaria not. So a little bit of a gain to Portugal, and they're doing a good job just to hang on and just ride out this left-hand shift, which, if the longer they keep going this way, the closer they get to that starboard ley line, but they're doing a good job for the moment.
Yeah, you can really tell it's very shifty right there, as we were just looking at the trajectories of both of these boats right there. It's sort of going left and right. As you can see, it's kind of a wavy trajectory, even for the Turkish boat over on the left-hand side right there. So they're really having to follow the wind, as the wind is, it's not very stable. And here we go for attack right now for Team Portugal, as Bulgaria is going to be going behind them. So Bulgaria accepting to pass behind Team Portugal and to go off to the right-hand side, or continue off to the right-hand side.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Portugal come back here on this starboard tack. They're obviously coming back on the line of the Turkish, who are still on port. So it'll be interesting to see their angle towards them. We can see the 2D there. It just looks like they're a little bit further bow down, so potentially still in that left-hand phase, as we see. But Portugal electing their turn to come back towards the middle of the fleet and not get stuck out that starboard hand ley line.
Yeah, interesting tactically because Portugal, by coming back into the middle of the race course right there, is giving themselves options. Instead of being stuck and having perhaps, the Turkish boat tack right on top of them, they're giving themselves options and as well, sailing into that clean air. So keeping it simple like we've been talking about all day. And it looks like that's what Portugal is doing right now, even though they're going to be doing 2 more tacks.
Yeah, that's right. It is a bit of a risk versus reward maneuver, but as you mentioned, more options, but then more maneuvers as well. We just saw Turkey tack over there, and it looks like they just want to cover, the position that they have and just stay in between both of their boats, and potentially they've just tacked on ley line. So a really smart and well done job by
As we
by
pan
Team
off
Turkey.
to the right, perhaps we'll see the buoy, and yeah, there it is. I just saw it. So I think that the Turkish boat is on ley line. That'll be interesting. Portugal here, what are they going to do? Now, all that needs to happen is just a little bit of a left-hand shift, and Turkey is no longer going to be on that ley line. So perhaps that's what Portugal is banking on.
Yeah, that's right. The tacticians doing their job the best they can to make sure that they're on ley line. But as you mentioned, if the wind shifts either way, if it's more of a left shift and they're on the starboard ley line, then potentially they won't make it. And we see the 2D graphic now, and that yellow line indicating the starboard ley line, and potentially they're underneath it. So another 2 more maneuvers that would mean for Team Turkey.
Yeah, but it looks like right now the wind is now decided to turn to the right-hand side, so giving a lift to the Portuguese team. As we see the distance for the Portuguese team just dropping to, they were up 73 meters, 72, now 70, 69. So they're getting closer and closer and closer as we're seeing the wind shift off to the right-hand side. They're going to be probably putting in a very, very late tack to get across the windward mark, which means 2 more maneuvers for Portugal. But yeah, they're getting closer and closer. So it'll be a fight right now between Bulgaria and the Portuguese team.
Yeah, you're right about that right-hand shift. It looks like they just got it in the nick of time. And we see Team Turkey, your leaders, at Mark 1, heading round. And we see the bowman get that kite out of the hatch there.
There we go. With a very late tack on Team Portugal right now going across. They're going to have to put in a big, big, big turn right here. And they're going to be losing a lot of speed back in that jib. What a great job. You see? Oh, they're almost stopped right there. So that it was an advantage. They really clearly took advantage of that shift. Now let's take a look here at the Turkish team as they're going to be doing a hoist and making sure that kite doesn't go back too far behind the Genoa. It looks like a pretty fast hoist and a fast drop. Good job right there as really quick to get that kite up. Now let's take a look at Team Portugal putting in a big bear away right there, making sure that mast is very flat and trying to diminish as to try to be the most on the inside possible. And right there, doing a good job at putting up that kite, but a little late on the ease.
Yeah, it looked to me like a really nice set, and it looked to me also like there's a bit more pressure as well. So I think that helped the set. Yeah, we can see here from the drone shot there is a bit more pressure coming down from the top of the course. So potentially a bit of a gain for the 3rd place boat, Bulgaria in this case, but that really helped the set and really helped the kite get set really, really quickly.
Yeah, you can see that the kites are out a little bit further. They look more balloonish, if you want, as opposed to the first 2 races where we saw the sails much flatter. So right now they're able to bear away a lot more, and they'll have less angle from the wind.
Yeah, that's right. We saw from the earlier race that they were sailing higher angles as well. So now they're sailing lower angles because of that increase in pressure. And we see not all the crew are down to leeward. A couple of them are to windward, just creating that force down on the windward side. But yeah, a little bit difference in wind conditions, but sailing really, really nicely. It looks like number 8, the helmsman, really locked in and just really focusing. We also see number 4 on board Team Turkey, and he's just communicating or hearing from the trimmer just to when to trim. So the winch will be engaged on the leeward side, and that has the kite sheet around it. And when the trimmer calls for a trim, that grinder will turn the grinding pedestal and make sure that sail does come in with the different pressure changes.
Yeah, as we saw earlier in Finland, we had Michaela Wolf there that was able to just, be able to handle it just basically with her hands without having to do, without having the grinder. Right now, you can tell there's a little bit more pressure. We need the grinder.
Yeah, that's right. The trimmers can't now pull it in just by hand. They need the grinders to do their job, but it's just a communication thing. It's nice and calm, obviously, and the trimmer can ease when he wants, but we just saw there the trimmer calling for a trim and the grinder doing their job. We also saw number 4, the grinder, just stepping up to windward. So he was on the leeward side, the other side of the grinding pedestal, and that's when they wanted the weight down, but they would have just called him up, and now he's just standing on the other side of that grinding pedestal.
Yeah, again, playing with the weight on board here. We see the Turkish boat. We've got a lot of people. Look at that. Everybody's just coming back up, making sure that they can get the boat flat. As you get the boat flatter, you can put a little bit more pressure into those sails, and then they can bear away. As you see, if you look at the trajectory behind the boat, you can actually see where the boat went into the water. You see that they were able to bear away with that pressure. So doing a great job at getting down towards the inside of the racetrack in order to be able to put in that jibe. And there we go. Now they're going to put in the jibe, and Portugal is going to follow them behind. So that was the whole idea, is to get down low in order to be able to now, when they come out of the jibe, to have some clear air and not have a problem with Portugal. Look at that. Coming in, easing the spinnaker out, and then getting the boat to flatten, getting that little acceleration out of there. Really saw it very well right there. It's a little bit easier to see when you got a little more pressure.
And easy to see for us as well, as we have these beautiful, beautiful shots, not only on board drone and then on the water as well. So, no, it is easy for us to see, and it's just showing off the caliber of these sailors, and they're doing a really nice job of handling these conditions.
Yeah, it's great as we are on board now with Team Portugal right there.
Just the tactician on board Team Portugal, just really talking through the next maneuver. They've done their simultaneous jibe, which is, a very good tactical advantage, but then also they're thinking about the next jibe that they might have to do, or potentially even their mark rounding.
Hugo Rocha, that's number 9. He's the tactician right there that was on the right-hand side of your screen that we're just looking at.
We just saw the drone shot there. It looks like there's a bit more pressure coming down from the top of the course, so expect these teams to be even more powered up on this next upwind beat as we have more pressure. We just heard that there is Charlie.
Charlie plus and red. So what does that mean?
So the plus indicating they've extended the length of the top mark. They've actually extended the distance, so the boats will be sailing further up the course to get to the top mark. And then red as well, meaning that they have moved the top mark to the port hand side, the left hand side of the racetrack. We can see that as indicated on the boat in between the 2 gate marks there.
Yeah, you see the motorboat with the yellow flag right there. He's indicating that there is a change of course, and with that indication will also be some sound signals that are made in order for the teams to know, well, we have changed the course. Now that's going to create something very interesting, but before we talk about that, let's take a look here at Bulgaria. And Bulgaria and their drop right now, as they're going to be putting in that windward drop. A very nice bearaway, and couldn't really see how it went in, but I'm pretty sure that it went in really well.
Yeah, it looked nice and clean, and you can see the grinders doing their best to grind in that jib sheet, so they're going from the drop line, going out of the drop line and then into that jib sheet, and he's just winding it in now.
And still grinding away on the left-hand side right there for the mainsail. So having a little bit of a hard time getting in that mainsail and making sure that the boat is naturally wanting to luff. As we see the tracks right there. Which track do you think back home was the best one? Robbie, what do you think?
Yeah, well, it looks like Bulgaria did a nice,
I agree.
Entry, just a really nice a wide rounding, and they came out, more narrow to the mark.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now you know. Next time you get down to the leeward gate, make sure you get nice mark roundings.
Yeah, that's right. Come in fat and come out skinny. So
I like it.
That's taught Definitely from a young age, and we don't need to tell these guys they're absolute professionals, and there's lots of
I thought you were going to say we don't need to tell them they're fat.
Absolutely not. Well, they might be thinking fat in terms of wanting all their body mass out, hiking out on this windward side. As they have more pressure now, that's indicated and reflected in the fact that we have an extended top mark going into Mark 3.
Right, so we said that's going to change something, and that does change something at the weather mark. So because they've changed the course, well, the weather mark has turned into a purple mark, and that purple mark just indicates that there is no dog leg. There will be no second mark at the windward mark, which means that they're just going to be doing that one mark rounding, which makes it a little bit more complicated because they've got less time to prepare the maneuver.
Yeah, that's right. They definitely need to prepare earlier on the upwind leg, making sure that they're communicating to their bowman and making sure that they're prepared exactly. And if they have to turn 180 degrees around and turn straight downwind, then they need to have everything prepared before they do that maneuver.
A sambuca, you say, we might see?
Yeah, potentially. But the race committee doing a good job of, negating the shift, because making it the next leg, this leg that they're on now, fair for everyone by shifting that hot mark out to that left-hand side to negate that left-hand shift we saw on the downwind.
So, tactics and strategy, even here in the commentator booth, making it really interesting, as this is the second windward leg, as we will be arriving for the last time at the windward mark, as we are here on board with Team Portugal. We see everybody outside, and we're seeing only the soles of everybody's feet, and it's great vision to have that. Tells us that we've got some nice wind.
Yeah, that's right. We do have pressure up for sure, and Portugal doing a really nice job. It says that they're the leader on our leaderboard on the top left of your screen, so they've done a really nice job of rounding that top mark and just making sure that they're on the long board, the lifted tack the whole time here, and they've done a really good job to come back into this race. It'll be interesting to see how they end up when they do tack over and come into Turkey, but for now they're doing a really nice job of sailing on that port tack.
Really interesting with all of the strategy that we're seeing here. Not only is it including, to sail smart and to have clear air, which both Portugal and Turkey are doing. And it looks like Turkey has opted for the left-hand side. Oh, look at the mainsail on Team Turkey right there. So it's looking like we're getting a little bit of excess pressure that's pushing back against that mainsail.
Yeah, a bit of backwinding on just the luff of that mainsail, as we can see a bit of a bubble forming at the front edge there, the luff. So that's just the pressure coming off the jib, and it just seems like the slot is potentially too tight, and the exit pressure is just coming straight onto that mainsail.
Yeah, exactly. You're perhaps need to twist that Genoa a little bit more to let that excess pressure escape out of the Genoa, as we see that already the mainsail has they've lowered the mainsail track, and they've given quite a bit of twist to the mainsail, but they've kept a lot of power onto the Genoa.
Yeah, that's right, and we can see the mainsail trimmer trimming in a little bit there, so they've just obviously noticed that bit of a bubble. Trimming in the mainsail, what that does is just open up the slot between the jib and the mainsail, so potentially they're electing to just go a little bit more sheet on, main sheet that is, and just making sure that they don't have that as much of a bubble or as much of a backwind on the mainsail.
Yeah, now trying to put a little bit of a twist right there, as we can see. I can see the Genoa sheet being worked on right there, as they're putting on a little bit more pressure, or less. As they ease the sheet, they're able to twist a little bit the sail and to get rid of that excess power. And then as soon as the wind drops down a little bit, then you just sheet on and put that power back on. Remember, that front sail is what's giving them the ability to go closer and closer to the wind. The mainsail is giving them the power, but the front sail is giving them the ability to climb.
Yeah, that's right. And we see this picture on your screen now. This is the deciding moment between Portugal and Turkey. It looks to my eye that Turkey just still in that left-hand shift, in that left-hand pressure, and it potentially looks like they'll cross over. But Portugal done a nice job just to continue and tacking over, but advantage to Turkey as they are still on this port tack in this left-hand shift.
Yeah, really interesting to see that Turkey also, they know it's shifty. So what do? Well, they stay in the middle of the race course. If you're in the middle of the race course, you're taking less chances because should it shift to the right, shift to the left, you're going to be less influenced. Portugal deciding to go off to the right-hand side, now it's shifted to the left. Well, Turkey's back out in front. So
Yeah.
smart sailing from the Turkish team right here.
Very, very smart. And, it's a 3-boat group, so like the other group, this is a 3-boat group. So it's not, overly fleet racing. There's not a lot of boats to try to contend with. There is a bit of match racing element to it as well. With a limited amount of boats or such a small amount of boats, you can really pick and choose when to really take control and cover one boat and then also and cover the other boat. There's not too much of a decision to be made there.
Yeah, as we were seeing right there, the trimmer, Mailis Baikan, as she was doing number 6 right down there, doing a really good job at pulling super hard and helping her teammates in order to pull in that sheet for the Genoa. As we just saw her right there, she went down to the bottom, and that is the short sheet. That's what we call it. And basically, that's going to be able to allow them to release the Genoa sheet and for the Genoa to not open completely in order to be able to put the Spinnaker sheet onto it. There we go. There's that purple mark that we were talking about. So a lot of things have had to happen right there. You see how they can release the Genoa right there? We have a big release on the main, and now they can put the Spinnaker sheet on the same winch that there was the old Genoa sheet on right there. So taking their time, making sure that they're doing things smoothly, bearing away, a big bear away right there from the helmsman, allowing for that Spinnaker to go up nice and easy, and a really quick drop right there for the but oh no, I saw the halyard go up and down, and right now they've got a problem because the pit woman or the pit man right there just let the halyard go for the Jenniker. Now they do have a pretty good lead, so hopefully that won't have influence, but it's too bad because that was such a good hoist until it wasn't.
Yeah, I was going to say they fortunate that they have quite a bit of time on their hands as they are the leaders in this race. So their lead was a little bit chewed up there. Portugal is still on the hunt, but fortunately they had enough time to do that.
Yeah, but watch out because you give an inch to Portugal and they'll take a mile. These guys have got the knife between their teeth on Team Portugal right there, and they're going to be putting on a big attack right now.
Yeah, we saw just on that second beat, we saw the left-hand shift there, and we're seeing that right now. So all boats on the starboard jibe, and they're able to sail really low to this finish line. So potentially, they might not have to do too many jibes or too many maneuvers coming into this finish line, but you can see them really soaking low, and it's evident of that left-hand shift.
Yeah, that left-hand shift is now such a left-hand shift that they're almost going straight down to the finishing line right now. So let's see what's happening between these two teams, because we're definitely gonna be seeing Portugal trying to attack and steal the wind off of the Turkish team right now. But Turkey doing a great job staying out in front of Portugal, even though they had that little mishap with that halyard being dropped. They still have a good lead of 62 meters right now over Team Portugal.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, Jan, on that first downwind leg. They were just sailing lower and really squashing the boat to make sure that they can sail lower, and that's just getting a little instep on the line of Portugal. And like you mentioned, it's just setting up for if they do need to jibe, then they're set up in a really nice position, sort of in that pocket. We can see that 2D there. They're just inside the line of Portugal, which is a really, really nice and safe place to be, especially when you have such a small lead that they do. It's setting them up for even more control.
Yeah, look at that, the teamwork right there, as you were just saying, squashing the boat down, and that's exactly what they're doing right there. And bearing away, as soon as you can get a little bit more pressure, a little bit more speed, just getting closer and closer to your objective. As you see right there, Portugal is sort of trying to climb over the back of them in order to be able to steal the wind from them. Is it going to work? Is it too little, too late? Are they going to be able to put an attack? Obviously, Turkey is looking back behind them. There it is, very, very close. As you see, Team Portugal right there being able to put in a higher mode and so having a little bit more speed. But the thing is, they're not getting any closer to the finishing line by doing that.
Yeah, that's right. They are sailing a little bit faster, but they are sailing further away. So it looks to me like Turkey are doing a nice job of, we mentioned the inside line, but then also just sailing closer to that finish line as well. It looks to me like Portugal have decided that this is still the long jibe. They've still got a long way on this jibe, so they're willing to sail higher and faster to potentially get on the breeze of Team Turkey.
Now, honestly, unless Team Turkey is planning on jibing right here, I don't understand why Team Turkey has let Portugal come up to where they are, because right now, very clearly, Portugal is able to steal the wind off of Turkey. Would you agree?
That's right. No, I absolutely agree. And
I mean,
it
I
looks
would
like there was
never
more
let them
pressure.
get there.
There was, yeah. Well, yeah.
Unless I want to jibe, right? If we're going to jibe, then okay, it's probably a good move. But right now, Team Portugal right there just going around, climbing over the top of Team Turkey right there. So interesting.
Yeah,
We've got two different tactics right now on these two boats.
Even more pressure as well on this left-hand side. I saw. So Portugal getting that pressure first as well. So yeah, definitely an attack mode, an offensive move by Team Portugal. And
yeah, it looks like now they're starting to bear away and to close the gap now that Portugal has been able to steal a little bit of the wind from Team Turkey as we see them try to bear away. And there he is, number 8 right there as Alfonso Domingos, just an unbelievable helmsman right there. Doing a great job. You see that? Now he's stolen some of the wind from Turkey. He's trying to close that gap. Right now, Turkey, if they head up to get a little bit more speed, they're going to close the gap. So they're kind of stuck right there. They let Portugal come in, and now they're going to have to deal with the repercussions of that.
Yeah, really nice drone shot just to see the distance in between the two boats. And, when they rounded, the distance was, 60 meters or so. So they've halved the gap.
Oh, here we go with the jibe.
Come into them now.
Here we go with the
Simultaneous jibe.
This is going to be super crucial right now for Team Portugal. If Team Portugal can get a very nice pump out of this and get some good speed, and they'll be able perhaps to steal some of the wind that's coming off of Team Turkey. Team Turkey going low. Look at the difference in speed. Oh, you can see it in the drone shot right there. Just Portugal accelerating off of the top. Look at that. Okay, Turkey is going way low. Portugal is going higher, but they've got a lot more speed. And so with that speed, they'll be able to bear away.
Yeah, that's right. It looked to me like Portugal really had them and were really on the breeze of Team Turkey, but they came up just a little bit more, so potentially hunting for more power. Hopefully, like you mentioned, they use that power to come down and close up the gap. But really, really nice job by Team Portugal. This race is close to the finish line, but it is not over.
Yeah, 268 meters until we get to the finish line, and it's definitely not over. Oh, perhaps we will be looking at one final jibe as we are seeing Bulgaria right there in the background, but they're don't be fooled. They are quite a ways behind. They're not going to be able to catch up to our two boats here in the front. Look at this. Oh, this is great because we've got the tactician on Hugo Rocha, which is the tactician number 9 on the Portuguese team right there, calling in for a jibe apparently in order to try to attack. And are they going to be able to get? Yes, they are. Portugal is now underneath Team Turkey, and they have all the rights in the world in order to be able to make them go up as a team as they are trying to get down. As we're getting down closer and closer, this is going to be a photo finish right now between the two boats. Who's it going to be? Yeah, remember, it's not the bowsprit; it's the front of the boat. Oh,
wow!
Oh, that was close. Yes, that is so exciting. Team Portugal coming back. What an attack! Amazing. I think it was Turkey that finished first. Yeah, it looks like 2 seconds. Wow.
Jeez.
Yes, I love it.
That's exactly what you want to see.
That's exactly it.
Race one of this group, and wow, just drama already. This is fantastic racing from both boats.
Yes, that's awesome.
Portugal, really, really good job. They came back. They halved that lead. We were talking about it the entire time, a real battle, and they just kept on the offensive. And wow, unfortunately, they're potentially just 2 seconds behind. But geez, they would have put the sweats on Team Turkey.
Yeah, but look at that. I mean, Bulgaria only 16 seconds behind. I mean, that's nothing, 29-minute race. So I'm glad these races are not too long because we still got those clouds, that are building. Let's make sure that. But this is great. The wind is also building, and so this is really cool. And we're gonna get another one in, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be great. I'm really hoping you're enjoying this because we're absolutely having a blast over here commentating this. It's really interesting, and it's just great to see that it comes down to pretty much nothing. 2 seconds. That's crazy.
Yeah, anything could do the difference of 2 seconds, and it's amazing to have such tight racing, especially in race one. So it's all all the rest of these races are going to be just as tight. And wow, I am excited to see them.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I just saw Carolina just jump onto the boat right there. With Team Turkey, so I expect that we'll be passing the mic down to her at any moment now when she's ready. But yeah, wonderful racing that we'll see. Yes, sounds like she's ready. So we're going down onto the water. Carolina on boat Turkey.
Amazing finishing line. It was very, very tight. I think it was like centimeters that you win with the Portugal. It was very close to the heart attack.
No, we managed to stay calm. Obviously, we lost quite a bit after the second upwind, but important to win. So we are happy to win the first race.
During the race, you just have a more and more distance between you and Portugal, but at the end, as you said, you just lose a little bit of the advantage. Why?
I think it was a little bit of boat handling, but obviously we are not sailing this much, so we are learning and improving every day. So anyway, we are happy with our performance.
You're very lucky also because on the Lake Neuchâtel we have around 10 knots finally. It's a perfect condition to sail because also of the temperature. How do you feel on the Lake Neuchâtel with the shifts, with the all of the things are happening on the race course?
Yeah, we've been sailing here quite a bit past years, and it's always nice to sail here. It's a little bit of shifty, flat water, and reminds me sometimes a bit home in our Fenerbahce bay. It's really nice. We are happy with the conditions.
Okay, perfect. So fingers crossed for the last race of today, and good luck.
Thanks so much.
All right, we're back. Thank you, Carolina. And yeah, we're going to get one more race in. This is going to be very exciting. So we've definitely seen some battles out there. It's going to be epic for this second one.
Yeah, that's right. And the helmsman that just touched on that, they were cool and calm, but he says that. It's very easy. I've definitely been in experiences like that when, sure, you can say you're cool and calm, but the reality is there's definitely a bit of nerves settling in as they get closer and closer to you. But well done. All the credit to Team Turkey for that battle.
Yeah, great question from Carolina. Great question. Putting him a little bit on the spot right there. The provisional overall, well, after one race, Turkey is in first, Portugal is second, and Bulgaria third. So first place, you get 3 points. Second place, 2. And third place, you get 1 point. So we should be having, or we will be having, our race number 2. And 10 knots. Wow, that's great. Guys, make sure you follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. And, of course, thank you for following us here on YouTube. Worldofsailors.com. That's the website you should be checking out as we're going to be taking a quick break here. because on that website you'll get absolutely all of the information. You remember, you can get all the information, the same information that all of the sailors are seeing, as in terms of the lineup, in terms of the rules, and you can geek out on that. So you can see also, of course, the global ranking, and something that's very, very important. And perhaps even you could find your own name in the global ranking. Go check it out. We'll be right back as we will get race number 2 from this fleet going. Bye-bye. Stick around.
Minus 10, 9, 8. We have a go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
take me home, take me on a ride. I got a good feeling about the colors lighting up your eyes. Take me home, take me to the sky. I got a good feeling. Tell me the only thing you are is mine now. I got a good feeling. I got a good feeling. You wanna know is how to hold on to it every moment. Dive into it like my love is an ocean. It's overflowing. I swear it's golden. So good that I'm rolling. Baby, you make me crazy. I'm seeing roses. Baby, just maybe you save me. Oh, take me home, take me on a ride. I got a good feeling about the colors lighting up your eyes. Take me home, take me to the sky. I got a good feeling. Tell me the only thing you are is mine. Take me home, take me on a ride. I got a good feeling about the colors lighting up your eyes. Take me home, take me to the sky. I got a good feeling. Tell me the only thing you are is mine now. I got a good feeling. I got a good feeling. Good feeling. I got a good feeling. I got a good feeling. You wanna do is move with me, I'm seeing blue, yeah. In a disco-colored room, hearts are blooming. It's so consuming. Love what you're doing, so good that I'm doomed, yeah. Baby, you make me crazy. I'm seeing roses. Baby, just maybe you save me. Oh, take me home, take me on a ride. I got a good feeling about the colors lighting up your eyes. Take me home, take me to the sky. I got a good feeling. Tell me the only thing you are is mine now. I got a good feeling. I got a good feeling. Good feeling. I got a good feeling. I got a good feeling. Good feeling.
Minus 10, 9, 8. We have a go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for race number 2 here of the Group G. As we see the boats circling around, we already have the orange flag that is up. As a matter of fact, we also have the flag, and there's 4 minutes right there.
Yeah, the blue Peter goes up just as you say that. So 4 minutes into the start, and the light sails we can see on the committee boat. They've got that board there indicating the biggest Genoas we have, so the light sails. So potentially similar conditions.
Potentially similar conditions. As we see, it looks like the committee boat is rocking and rolling a little bit there. So it's going to be really interesting because obviously the wind has gone up, and we are going to be starting getting into the upper range of these light sails.
Yeah, that's right. These boats will be very powered up.
Oh,
We've got a
great
beautiful
view.
drone shot here. We see the clouds in the background. You called it all day, Jan. These clouds have built up, and they're just over the mountains there. And
Yeah,
we
you
can
see on the
pressure
right-hand
as well.
side, that's generally over on the right to the middle. That's if they start really building up there, they can come down onto the race course. Anything that builds off more to the right back there, then it'll go behind the Jura. So, actually, it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty confident here that we'll have a great race. And look at that. I mean, we got a lot of wind right now, 6 to 7 knots. But Carolina was saying a little bit more earlier, and it looks a lot more than 6 knots right now out there on the water. So this is going to be really exciting racing.
Yeah, that's right. And it seems that we do have Carolina down on the water. So, Carolina, please, your thoughts on what's going on this racetrack now.
So hour by hour, the conditions here on the Lake Neuchâtel are more exciting. Now we have over 10 knots, I think. It's not just shiny. As we talked before with Jan, the clouds came from the direction, from the Yverdon city, and now we have more than 10 knots, the boats preparing for the start. So I think this will be the most exciting race of the day.
Thank you, Carolina. I don't know. I mean, that last one was really pretty exciting, but it's definitely going to be the windiest one. So and it'll be interesting, and we should be seeing some. I'm excited to see the drone shots because we'll see the different shapes that the boats will have, and the way they're twisting the sails, and the way they're going to be working on their sails. These are a little bit more conditions that Turkey and Portugal would be used to.
Yeah, that's right. They definitely know how to manage these sorts of conditions, especially from where they're from and where they have spent most of their time sailing. So you're absolutely right. And as we look on board to Team Turkey there, it just looks like they're setting up for their final approach just on the left-hand side of the start line compared to the other two boats. So
yeah, so let's just remember last time Team Portugal didn't manage to make it to the line on a starboard tack. They had to tack over. They ended up by doing a port tack, port start. These guys were a little bit early, so of course they have to get used to the boat. They haven't sailed a whole bunch on these boats because time is limited. Now let's take a look. 45 seconds as looks like Portugal is coming in hot right there. I'm putting in a really big turn right there for Team Portugal, trying to lose some weight, some speed. 35 seconds before the start. Oh, they're going to have to tack. Look at that. Very interesting. So Portugal right now is getting pushed off to the right-hand side, probably waiting to put in another tack and then to come back. To come back full speed right now as Turkey is closing the door right now on Team Bulgaria as we are getting closer and closer to the starting line. 10 seconds left as we see Portugal right there coming from far away, blistering with speed. And looks like everybody is late to the starting line. Oh, look at this. Turkey. Are they going to be able to make it across the finishing line, the starting line? It's going to be looking really difficult. It's perfect for Team Portugal right there with a whole bunch of speed. So Turkey right there having to luff as much as possible in order to not catch the anchor line right there of the committee boat. And we see Bulgaria right there having to put in a tack, and so they are now starting on a port tack.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Really interesting to see why the boats were late. They were all late. Turkey and Bulgaria didn't even make that pin end, or just by Turkey, a very slow maneuver. Portugal able to put the bow down, but I think they just got too caught up in fighting with each other in that pre-start, and they forgot about the time. And all the boats were at least 10 seconds back, which is rare to see from especially the caliber of these sailors. And Portugal advantage now, but they
Did you
would
see
have liked
that
to be
tack?
further, for
Did
sure.
you see the tack they just put in right there, Portugal? Really slow. Kept a lot of speed. And look at the distance they've managed to put on Turkey. Turkey right there feeling the heat, putting in a really quick tack and losing quite a bit of speed. So, there we go. It's another battle, and it's on Bulgaria. Getting another good start. I mean,
Yeah,
they did a great job.
They did a good job just to slow their boat up and tack and just be able to dip behind Portugal.
Look at the tracks right there on the starting line as you see the Turkish with a white track right there having to point so high, losing all of their speed. And even though Bulgaria right there was not making it across the line, they managed to do a clean tack and to get a port side tack. And look at that. Bulgaria is in the lead right now.
Yeah, it looks to me like there's still that left-hand shift that we saw from the races previous. We had word from the race committee that the angle or the direction to the first top mark was 230 degrees. So the start of the day we had 255, and now we have 230, just to give you a bit of relative information. And yeah, that left-hand shift is still staying in, it looks like.
It's unbelievable. It's really shifting left right now. And I'm wondering how much of that influence is coming right there from those storm clouds that are starting to roll in. But we'll see. Anyways, no matter what's happening, it's the same thing for everybody right now. And what a great start from Team Bulgaria right now, as they are were our leader right now, but it's turning so much to the left. We'll see what happens if it continues to turn to the left like this. Is race committee going to cancel this race or not?
Yeah, that's
You
right.
never know. You never know.
No, hopefully. Oh, yeah, well, we're just looking at the bowman there. You'd suspect just trying to get his weight out as much as possible. Obviously not holding on to anything to hold him out, but sort of that heel. He's able to put his hands on the bottom of the boat there just to keep himself upright.
Quite a bit of heel right there on the boats. As we can tell, they're really powered up right now, all of these boats.
Yeah, really fun to sail in the top end conditions for these big Genoas as well, right? They've got as much power as these boats can take, but then adding on the even more pressure, it really makes it a fun game. And you know, they're having to depower potentially these big sails if it gets to the top edge. And we saw earlier on board Team Portugal there, they had their jib car track just slightly back, so they've just changed a bit of mode, and that's just to do with the difference in pressure.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see the onboard cameras, because I want to see how they're setting up their Genoas and everything else. We'll get to that very soon. But right now, as we take a good look at Team Portugal, everybody right there putting all their weight out as much as they can, and trying to conserve some energy as well. Now, putting your weight out on these boats is not the hard part. The hard part is coming back into the boat.
Just as you say that, the bowman putting his hand under the bum of number 3 there and just pushing him back up. So you've nailed it with the timing there, just to be able to get back into the boat. Potentially need some assistance to do that.
Yeah, it's really tough. Remember, there are no hiking straps on these boats. They're basically holding on to the sheets, and that's it. And because of the heel, they're able to sort of sit on the side of the boat.
Yeah, that's
even
right.
though they're hiking out. The boats are so powerful.
Yeah, no, drop hiking is definitely different, and there's not many boats that do have drop hiking, but this is absolutely one of them. And you just saw the effort of everyone just trying to pull themselves back in before they go through their maneuver.
You could tell Alfonso right there having to just call okay guys, we're gonna tack. Get back into the boat.
Yeah, it's good to give your crew just a bit of fair warning before you do throw the boat through the breeze. But Portugal doing a nice job and we touched on it again. The leaders are making sure they're staying in the middle of the course, in between both boats that they're sailing against. So Portugal doing a good job of keeping their options open in the middle of the racetrack.
And here, as we are looking on to Team Turkey, Turkiya. Sorry, we are trying to pronounce that correctly. I'm sorry, it's been decades I've been saying Turkey, so we'll try to get it right. But I apologize to everybody out there, to all the Turks that are listening. I'm trying.
We're looking at the live chat as well on the stream, and we see a lot of love for Turkey. And there was a comment just saying not Turkey, Turkey Air. So
Turkey Air.
we'll make sure that we get that correct for you guys, because I know there's a lot of fans of Team Turkey Air out there.
And as we are looking on board right there, so interesting. Yeah, they still got the main the main jib track quite high up there. You can see. Oh, but I also see that they've twisted quite a bit the Genoa with the Genoa track down at the bottom of your screen right there. That's all the way back, and easing out a little bit of sheet. So there you see, that's that track right there. That's the one that's not being used right there, as you see the increments from 0 to 6. And further back, they put that jib track. The flatter they're going to get the bottom of the sail, and the more they can open up the top of the leech of the sail, and so essentially depowering the boat, making a flat sail at the bottom and twisting the sail up at the top to get that extra power out. So they're using a lot of that power down at the bottom, and it's better actually to take the power off than to have too much power on, because if you have too much power on, then actually what you're doing is you're slowing down the boat. The boat's heeling. You're going to have to correct the heeling angle with the rudder, and then like we've been talking about all day long, it's really about making sure that rudder is straight. And if you want to have it straight, you got to have your sails set correctly. So really interesting, as we see also here on the Genoa track down at the bottom right-hand side of your screen. You see it's all the way back as well. So depowering that Genoa, and able to keep a little bit of power right there on the mainsail, trying to keep that boom in the middle of the boat.
Yeah, that's right. Just being controlled there with the Traveller. You see sort of that fluorescent line at the back there. That's that main sheet, and the Traveller's just above center. But you mentioned you want that boom just on the center line of the boat. So they're doing a fantastic job. They're obviously very, very good sailors out here. They're the best of the best in their countries, and they're doing a really nice job to adapt to this difference in pressure and adapt the sail shapes.
And now take a look at this. Now we have Bulgaria. Bulgaria has now taken the lead, having really doing a great job on the start. And we were talking about sailing smart, and they've done it all right there. So they got a good start. They sailed in clean air, and they got the shifts right. So what a great job right there from Team Bulgaria. Now they just can't let that pressure get to them. They got to sail smart. They got to sail, take it easy and not have a lot of pressure. It's easy to say. It's really hard to do when you've got Team Portugal, which is breathing down your neck. So here we go. Let's take a look now at the hoist for Team Bulgaria, as we already see the spinnaker kind of going into the water right there. Okay, no big deal. The tack line has been pulled. We have Ina, the pit woman, right there doing a great job at making sure that everything is okay as we hoist right there. And a good hoist and a quick drop right there by Ina. We're doing a great job there at the pit. So very, very nice move from Team Bulgaria, as we see here. Team Portugal, and also doing a good job as they are doing, nice and quick, deciding to not stay. That Genoa is not going down nearly as fast as the Bulgarian team one.
Yeah, it was a slick, really slick hoist from the Bulgarian team, but like you mentioned, that jib just didn't come down too fast on board Team Portugal.
Yeah, this one I'm going to give it to Bulgaria.
That's right, and we can see them go through the jibe. So those grinders, they're working as hard as they can to pull that kite sheet around the forestay and get that kite around and set as soon as possible. And a really nice jibe there. Just a few of them jumping up to windward side. So a nice jibe, and interesting to see tactically that they wanted to initiate that jibe. They obviously see a bit of a right-hand shift potentially in terms of how the course is skewed, and they're just electing to get on that port jibe as soon as possible.
Yeah, interesting, as tactically speaking, it turned left on the way up, so you want to be on the left-hand side as you're going on the way up, but then it hasn't turned too much to where you can actually do the opposite on the way down, so to get into the right. You know what I would really like to see?
Tell me.
A Sambuca.
A Sambuca.
Or a jibe set, as many people know it. It's probably the hardest maneuver, and I can totally understand why they don't want to do it, because when you're out there I mean, you don't want to be taking the risk of doing a really, really hard maneuver.
Yeah, that's right. You know, unless you've practiced it to the point of absolute perfection, then you're absolutely right. No point in taking the risk of doing a difficult maneuver when you can just do a safe one and then just jibe, as soon as everyone's ready.
Yeah,
and they did that perfectly.
Set, get it up there and get everybody, get the whole thing down and everything, and then do the jibe. And I think it's a lot safer, for sure. It's a lot safer. But for commentary,
yeah, we'd like to see it.
we'd love to see it.
No jeopardy for us, that's for sure. No, Bulgaria doing a fantastic job to lead that jibe. They've obviously noticed that potentially more pressure or shift is out on the right-hand side looking upwind. That's where they gained on that first beat, so they're heading out the same way that they gained. And yeah, they're doing a nice job. They've just got Portugal just on their line right behind them, so a beautiful drone shot just as we say that. So really nice controlling position by Bulgaria, but there's not much in it. And like we saw in that race one of this group, Portugal are ready to attack. So it's it's very, very close, and Portugal will be probably thinking about doing the same thing.
Yeah, interesting to see that all the weights have moved back a little bit now onto the boat. So we definitely, of course, that's a confirmation that the pressure has gone up. And also, I want to talk about our chat, because we've got a lot of people that are on the chat right now. So we are seeing a lot of country flags for the teams that you're rooting from. But what I'd like to see is, where are you watching from? So put the country flag of where you're watching from. That'll be great. We really like the interaction. Thanks everybody. Thanks for the hearts, and thanks for following us. Now let's get back to racing. Team Bulgaria, right? They're doing a great job being hunted by Team Portugal. Are they going to defend more than what we saw Team Turkey do?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, the decision needs to come from the tactician from Bulgaria, whether or not they're going to lay through on this board or not, right? So if this is the long tack that they're coming down to the gates with, then that's the side you want to protect. So happy to keep Portugal just on your stern and sort of lead them in. That's no worries. If you have to jibe, then that's where things can get a bit complicated.
Oh, look at that right now. So advantage currently to the team that's in the back. So that would be Portugal, because they're the ones getting the wind first. And they're putting in an attack right there on the Bulgarian boat. So Bulgaria is going to have to luff in order to fend off the attack from Portugal.
Yeah, really nice mode from Portugal there.
There you go. You see them going up right there. It's great, because with the drone you can really see the difference in angles. That's right there as Bulgaria is defending, not allowing Portugal to come up.
Yeah, this is really interesting. If you're Portugal, obviously you have more speed. If you've got more speed, then you don't want to be overlapped to windward as well, right? So unless they think they're coming into this gate mark and they're going to be just dropping the kites, then they can get into that zone and get buoy room. But if there's another jibe, they're locked out on the outside of the Bulgarian stern there.
It's true. They are locked out if they're there. And really interesting right now to see that, they sent the bowman up forward because they're really putting on a big attack. And we're seeing Portugal right now just having a little bit more speed. Now, it's interesting. The wind is not exactly coming from behind them. As a matter of fact, look at the mainsail right there. You see the tailtails that are at the back of the mainsail. So you're really seeing that the wind is coming from the side of the boat and sliding into those sails, and now coming off into the back. Oh, look at that. No more pressure right there on Portugal, as Portugal has said, okay, I've had enough. We're bearing away. We're going to stop the attack. Because remember, there's one thing. To win the battle is one thing, but they have to win the war right here. So if they keep battling against themselves, guess who's going to be coming back? That's right.
Team Turkey, yeah, absolutely. And the fans will enjoy that in the live chat. But very, very close from Portugal. And an interesting decision not to simultaneous jibe, not to jibe on top of Bulgaria. They just elect to just extend a few more boat lengths. Then they jibe. It just indicates to me that they're setting up for a left-hand turn looking downwind and potentially favoring the right-hand side of the course looking upwind.
Yeah, and we see a very good defending, very good decision to defend the Bulgarian boat right there against the attacks of the Portuguese. Remember, the Portuguese are right there. they are, SSL ranked almost 30 places ahead of Bulgaria. So right now, the underdog in terms of ranking is Bulgaria, but they're definitely keeping their head out of the water and doing a really great job here on the boat handling and fending off the attacks from Team Portugal. So here we go. Now we're getting down to the leeward gates, another spot where we could see potential mayhem. And now it's really important that that spinnaker does not drop into the water. And it looks like a little bit has, but it looks like everybody is, yeah. If it drops into the water, it's two things are going to happen. First of all, simultaneous. You see that? A better drop from Team Portugal being able to keep some more speed down at the gate. So two things. If it gets wet, one, it's going to slow down the boat. And the second, they still have to use it one more time. So they're going to be coming up to the windward mark with a wet spinnaker. It's harder to bring it up, and it's harder to make that thing pop and be full.
Yeah, absolutely right. You want a clean drop every time you go for the douse, and obviously that's a lot of it's in your control, but then a lot of it's down to how the boat's positioned and how you actually drop it. And we can see on board Team Turkey a bit of the kite just in the water, just as we talk about that.
Yeah, but a nice rounding right there. I'm seeing just a really nice rounding. Obviously, they're quite far behind. Look at the top left-hand side of your screen right there. That's the difference in time from at the gates. 1 second right there. So Bulgaria losing a little bit to Portugal on that drop.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Bulgaria electing to go out to this left-hand side on this upwind. They did gain out the right-hand side on their first beat. So interesting to me why they wanted to elect to go out to this left-hand side. Potentially they were dictated that by the boat behind in Portugal when they were choosing their rounding, but it'll be interesting to see how these two boats come back, because if the first beat was any indication, Portugal potentially are on the correct-hand side of the racetrack.
Potentially,
yeah. I don't want to say anything too early.
I mean, it's so hard because we've been seeing it so shifty all day long. Perhaps right now they're getting a left shift.
Yeah, that's right, and we can just see a beautiful onboard footage here of Team Bulgaria. We just saw the trimmer just trimming in that jib, just that to the final 100% of how much he wants it trim. And then here he is, he's looking down to leeward, just making sure, just checking those leech telltales, as you mentioned earlier, Jan, just making sure they're free-flowing and making sure that genoa is fully set up. But a beautiful job by Bulgaria to be able to come out to the side and continue their lead.
One thing we have talked about in the past, we were talking about that, and we also spoke about it a little bit today, the rudder angle. And sometimes it's interesting, and we'll try to talk to you guys about that when we get another inboard or onboard shot. As you see on the rudders, on the wheels, actually in the back right there, you've got that little white tape. And so that's a pretty good indication of how much rudder angle is being put onto the boat. And so the more power you're giving the mainsail, the more you have to correct with that rudder. And so therefore, it's a good indication for the mainsail trimmer to be able, there it is. So for the mainsail trimmer to be able to look at where is that white mark and how much rudder angle is my helmsman putting in. And so they'll be working together. As you see, they're sitting right next to one another, and they're giving feedback to one another, saying, listen, it's a little bit too hard. I got too much pressure. Can you ease it out? And then he'll ease it out. Then we'll see, oh no, the speed is dropping. Okay, all right, well, let me try to twist the sail. So then this way we get less rudder angle, but we keep the speed. It's fascinating, the teamwork that's working between these two.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And there's a lot of force, a lot of pressure that you can feel through the wheel. So as a helmsman, you really feel the flow from the rudder and the keel and the flow underneath the boat. You obviously want it as straight as you can get it, but you feel the pressure and the differences in power really, really, a substantial amount. So you can definitely communicate that towards the main street person, and you described it perfectly. But there's a lot of feel on these wheels.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And you see, it's just a bunch of couples, really. I mean, you've got the mainsail trimmer, and then you got the helmsman. And earlier, we were talking about, that's by the way, that's a really nice tack. Everybody's staying to windward until it's on the leeward side. Oh, we've got a man overboard. Oh, no. Oh, well, the back of the boat was doing great. What happened to the front right there? Oh.
We talked about earlier about how hard it is to get back in the boat, and potentially he was unable to get back in.
Yeah, you think that's it?
Potentially. This
trying to stay to that windward side just a little too long and then getting caught out.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Bit
yeah.
of a wet sailor, but he's all right. He's on board, and they can carry on a smile. I even saw there.
He's like, oh, no. I know who's talking about me now. That's right, buddy.
And it's worth touching on, his brother is the helmsman, right? So, you know, it makes it even bit of more fun. A bit of brotherly banter there, and he'll be having a few words with his brother potentially afterwards. But I'm glad he's on board.
Yeah, we know who's going to be buying the dock beers tonight. So a little bit of action as we were getting very, very concentrated on how to helm the boat and how to tack. And as we had a little too much action right there with number 11. For somehow, we didn't see how exactly, but he ended up in the juice.
Yeah, that's right. Not where you want to be, but they pulled him back up on board, and they're able to sail nicely now. It looks like they're just having to hold a bit of a lane here. They just got Portugal just underneath them. Doesn't look like they're being affected too much, so they're able to sail whatever mode they choose, but it is still very, very close. Only 2 meters in between these two boats.
I love it.
They're in the center of the racetrack as well, so there's still a lot of options either way. They've still got more tacks to do, and wow, this is really, really close. Race 2, you know, last race of the day for these guys, and still there's 0 meters in between these two boats.
0 meters. It's unbelievable. And 2 seconds in the last finish. Yeah. Oh, wow. Portugal is putting on a show for us. Thank you. This is great. So, yeah. So now let's talk a little bit about the strategy here. 636 meters as to get to the windward mark. I believe there was no Charlie at the gate, so we should be seeing the 2 yellow buoys as we get to the windward mark. Now it's going to be interesting here. As
really nice
difficult position
shot to see.
right now.
Yeah. Nice camera angle just to see how close the boats are. And I said that potentially they had a lane, but Portugal have done a really nice job of sailing a high mode. And there you go. They've just affected Bulgaria enough to make them tack off. So a bit of an advantage there to Portugal, and they're heading out to the starboard side of the racetrack, which they will come back with the advantage when these boats get closer to Mark 3, and a really nice high mode from Portugal to make that happen.
Unbelievably good high mode. You could really see the difference between that last drone shot, as they were almost parallel when they came out of the tack, when Bulgaria came out of the tack. You know, and there was quite a bit of lateral distance between Portugal and Bulgaria on the last tack, and Portugal managed to put in that high mode, close the gap, and force Bulgaria to tack over. So now Bulgaria is on a starboard tack as we see them tacking right now. So that means that actually Bulgaria needs to put in another tack in order to get onto the ley line. And that means 2 more maneuvers. That's at least 2 boat lengths. So
yeah, really pivotal time in the race, especially when these guys are coming into their final top mark.
And coming in to starboard is right away is Team Portugal. So Bulgaria is for sure going to have to duck behind them.
Wow, we see the distance that grew already.
That.
You know, that's 2 more maneuvers, 1 more maneuver, excuse me. So just an extra tack really opens up the distance. It is costly, especially in these lighter wind conditions.
Well, actually, it's 2 maneuvers because they forced them to tack over to starboard and then they tacked back. So there you go. That's the difference right there, ladies and gentlemen, that 2 maneuvers will do to you. So by Portugal being in to put in that high mode, well, they just made themselves a 60 meter lead.
Yeah, no, seriously well done by Team Portugal, and they tacked in on ley line. Nice ley line there. So we see them round Mark 3. We saw the bowman give a bit to the cameras, and he's definitely hiking as hard as he can, pulls himself in, and they've got this spreader leg to go before they turn downwind for the final time today. We see a great Great on-water shot of the bowman there, just getting the tack out of the hatch and making sure it's easy for them to pull the tack line on.
Manuel Dantas.
Simultaneously pulling the head forward and making sure when they do sneak the head of the kite up, it is as far forward and away from the spreaders as possible. Here we go. The tack goes out, the kite's going up, the helmsman sails really deep, really low, so they get really release that pressure. And here we go for that jib down as well.
And a good drop right there. There we go. Real fast. Very, very nice. No issues on this one.
No, really
Now
nice.
let's take a look at what's going on here in the back as Bulgaria is putting up their kite. Oh, they're going really quickly. What a really nice drop as well from them right there. Even though the Genoa isn't all the way down, it doesn't matter because the top of the sail is already full.
Yeah, that's right. And they did a good job, I saw, of just getting the bow down early as they're going through that maneuver and then straight back up to angle. And it's evident there. They're straight into it. Here we see Portugal electing to do that jibe again. We saw Bulgaria do the exact same thing on the first downwind run. So Portugal wanting to get onto that port board as soon as possible. And, you know, they're out in front, so they have a little bit of time to do it, but they're dictating terms as they come into the finish.
Portugal just really able to sail super well downwind and super well upwind, and it's not just a question of turning the wheel and putting in the high mode. You know, if it was that easy, everybody could do it. It's just really a question of the whole team, everybody on there, and especially the trimmers. You know, the trimmers like Nuno Barreto, which is the number 5, and also Thomas Barreto, both of them, you know, doing a really good job at making sure that that boat can go up into the wind. And of course, you know, we cannot forget about the mainsail trimmer here, Renato Conde, which is on Team Portugal. Amazing. They're able to get the low mode and that high mode.
Yeah, what was really cool to me is that, you know, they obviously had a very tight finish in that first race, and it didn't seem like they were too rushed or anything like that. And then also they have a similar tight situation with another boat, and it still seemed very, very calm. So it looks to me like this crew is really well versed, really communicating well, and very calm on board, which is a real pleasure to watch.
Calm, and they look happy, and you know, they're just happy to be out there on the water. We saw, you know, the bowman Manuel Dantas, which was you know, gave us a little fist pump, and it was yeah, it's great as you can see. But now everything's back down, calm, relaxed, and just focusing on being able to get that speed and to be able to go low.
Yeah, that's right. And we see the trimmer there. He's able to now pull from the winch, so not needing the grinder anymore. You see him just pull in that kite sheet, so potentially a little less breeze on this downwind.
Nuno Barreto right there, number 5 right there, as you see him trimming the Genoa.
Yeah, interesting. You see the tape marks on his fingers as well, so not electing for the gloves, but also the tape around the fingers, just where sort of you get those pressure points just as you're holding the sheet. So that's the sign of an experienced sailor. He doesn't want the feel of the gloves. He still wants the real raw feeling in his fingers, but he still wants a little bit of protection just so his fingers are taken care of.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see. I mean, of course, he's got big calloused hands. I mean, you can't do that with you know, if you're sailing once every 2 weeks or something like that. But these guys sailing day in, day out, and interesting to see that tape on his hands.
No, it really shows. And people have moved further forward in the boat now as well since the previous downwind. So once again, indicating potentially we have a little bit lower breeze pressure, and doing a really nice job of just keeping that weight all together and just in the center of the boat there.
We are on the last leg here of race number 2 for Group G, 920 some odd meters until we get down to cross the finishing line. We're about halfway down, and Portugal right now with a nice lead over Bulgaria. Bulgaria right there putting in a jibe, as you see them right there. They're just not able to come back. It's just Portugal is just decided I'm out of here.
Yeah, it was a very definitive moment between the two on that last upwind leg, and it really has grown the lead for Portugal. So they're able just to sail, clean and calm, and Bulgaria just putting in a jibe. I think that's just a bit of a last-minute desperation. If they can get a bit more pressure out to the left-hand side, as we look at it on your screen there, just potentially chancing their arm to see if they can get any game back into this Portuguese team.
Yeah, as we see here, very concentrated Alfonso Domingos at the helm, number 8, right there. Lots and lots of experience, a former world champion. Has been to the Olympics as well, has sailed several times around the world, and putting all of his experience here onto these SSL boats as we are under 600 meters away from the finals, doing such a good job that he's put quite a lead, as a matter of fact, on Team Bulgaria.
Yeah, nice job by Team Portugal just to put in that jibe, just to relieve the pressure, I guess, to give the keep the control and make sure that they're following Bulgaria and making sure they're not giving them too much. But we go on board with Team Turkey, and wow, it looks like they've just picked up a huge right-hander. They're very, very low on that port tack.
As we see them coming back, strange that they are so slow.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if perhaps they have some seaweed, because it's so strange for me to see them that far behind. It does happen on this lake. We do have some patches of seaweed, and it can happen every once in a while, but that's racing, and it could happen to the best of us. And when I saw what I saw from Turkey on the last one, I don't understand why they're so far behind. So for me, it's not a question of the team or of the boat or anything like that. I think perhaps unfortunately they've got a little bit of seaweed down in the crew.
Yeah, it's unfortunate if that is the case. They have been sailing well. They sailed obviously very well to win that first race. So very interesting. We'll definitely get that information to see if that is the case. But we go on board with Team Portugal. They're just passing that gate mark. Doesn't matter what side they go of it. They're going into the finish. So no worries on that buoy. And there you see just one and in. We see them sailing at quite a hot angle now, so that just indicates that right shift.
That line is so small. That's why. And
Yeah.
putting in a big bearway. Congratulations, Team Portugal, right there on a well-sailed race. So well sailed, it's a little uneventful. The start was great. They did an awesome job, and really, I think that deciding moment was when they managed to get Bulgaria to tack. And here we go. Here's Bulgaria coming across the finishing line. They'll be happy with a second place finish right there, putting up some points up onto the leaderboard. So, yeah, when they got pushed off to 3 tacks.
Yeah, that's right. Definitely a key moment in the race, and gave Portugal all the time and space, and that's what they used, and actually grew their lead on that downwind as well. So no, it was a pleasure to watch how Portugal have sailed, and they should be really happy. They had a really, really good day.
Yeah, so congratulations on Team Bulgaria for managing to come back into the fight. Congratulations on both Team Portugal and Turkey for some really great racing. And unfortunately, Turkey finishing 3rd on this one. It's not the end of the world. We definitely saw them do a great job in sailing. And yeah, I don't know if we'll find out whether there was anything on the keel or not, but I suspect there is.
Yeah, the Turks definitely sailed a fantastic race 1, and it's unfortunate to see them there in 3rd place, but they're still absolutely in the hunt, and the points will still be very, very close, and there's lots more races to come. So do not go away, and absolutely do not count out your country.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're gonna be here every day, all week. So stick around and make sure that you come and watch the races tomorrow. as hopefully we'll get another 2 races in. We'll see how Lake Neuchâtel in Switzerland treats us. But let's go down onto the water as Carolina is with Team Portugal.
I'm here with Afonso Domingos, the SSL team skipper of Portugal. It was a very nice race, but it didn't lead from the beginning to the end. When was the turning point of the race?
I think it was that we are really strong in the downwinds. So we catch the guy in the downwind and we round the right mark on the bottom gate. I think that was our strong points are the downwinds now, today.
So after these 2 races today, do you have any suggestions what you can change for tomorrow to have 2 victories tomorrow?
We need to start better. We start first in this last one, but not that's important in front of the other ones. But I think we need to start a little bit better than today.
And in general, are you happy with your team, with the performance you did on board today?
Yeah, I'm really happy. I think it's the first competition that we do since a long time ago. Last time was in Canary Islands, so also there is new members of the team in this one. So I'm really happy that we had the second and first. Fantastic.
Okay, thank you so much. We are waiting for more Portugal performance tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for it.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much for that interview. And I would agree. I mean, that's the only thing that's still missing is the start.
Yeah, that's right. They were definitely a little bit late on that first one, and they'll be looking at the footage, I'm sure, tonight and debriefing that on how they work that together better. But like you mentioned as well, the downwinds really are strong for this Team Portugal. They've definitely chewed up the meters and caught up to all the boats that were in front of them. So it's nice to obtain your strengths and your weaknesses after day one, after 2 races, and they'll be looking to build on those weaknesses and continue those strengths into day 2.
Yeah, and I want to thank everybody who's been watching from all over the world, and especially a little shout out to the team Mozambique, which I know are watching us all the way from very far away, actually. So here it is, Portugal. After 2 races, they have 5 points. Turkey, after 2 races, have 4 points, and Bulgaria with 3. So we still have another 4 races that we can race during this week. So make sure that you join us tomorrow for the following races, probably races 3 and 4, but perhaps we can have 5 races depending on what the weather is like and what race committee decides. And of course, you can figure all of that out if you go on to our worldofsailors.com website, where you'll have all of that information, and especially where you can get the ranking, global ranking, men's ranking, women's ranking, your ranking. You can even try to find your name in that ranking. And then of course Instagram and Facebook. So we're putting out a lot of social images and social information and everything that we can in order to be able to have some fun videos, and also for you to be able to see your country's sailors and get to know them if you don't already know them. And make sure you guys come and check us out. Robbie, it's the end of the day. I want to thank you very much for commentating with me. It was a really good day. And any last words?
No, it was a pleasure. Thank you very much, Jan. It's always a pleasure to be here in the commentary booth with you, and another fantastic day of racing, and looking forward to tomorrow.
And on that good note, thank you, Robbie. And ladies and gentlemen, we will see you right here back in Switzerland tomorrow morning for some more action-packed racing. Thanks a lot for watching us, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Minus 10, 9, 8. We have a go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.